Chapter 317, Chapter 317, Breakthrough. Chapter 317, Breakthrough. In the dark world, the Umbra beasts were roaming about. Occasionally, a huge and violent Umbra beast would appear. Roar. With a loud roar, a level 3 6-step Umbra beast roared out. Its huge body was not clumsy at all. On the contrary, it was extremely agile. The three Supreme Realm experts walked together, looking for a way out in this dark world. All. With a miserable cry, the level 6 third-level Umbra beast bit one of the first-level Martial Honored Realm experts into 2 pieces and died. The other 2 Martial Honored Realm experts were stunned by the scene in front of them. Their bodies flashed quickly and shot into the distance. However, just as they flew up, a strange Nether chi slashed down from the sky. The Nether chi had the terrifying effect of losing one's mind. The bodies of the 2 Supreme Realm experts swayed a few times before they fell. In the same dark world, more than 10 Supreme Realm experts flew into the distance. After 10 days of running, a powerful city appeared in front of them. The sky above the city was filled with energy. More than a dozen Supreme Realm experts looked at the vast city in front of them and were stunned. He had never seen such a powerful city before. He had never thought that there would be a city in this place. However, this city was emitting a strange aura everywhere. It was as terrifying as Underworld City. The sinister aura kept drifting out. On the other side, more than 30 Supreme Realm experts were traveling together. One of them was holding a mysterious compass and was looking for something according to the compass. Big brother, we should be arriving at Jiuyou Ming City soon, right? Look, isn't the 9 Netherworld City ahead? It really is 9 Nether City. 9 Nether City, I've finally found it, haha. Our Dongling clan is going to dominate the Azure continent. The 30 or so Supreme Realm experts looked at the distant city and became excited. However, when they saw that there were more than 10 experts in front of the city, they were all shocked. Similarly, the experts in front of the city also saw the experts coming from afar, and their faces were filled with shock. Why are all the martial honors of the Dongling clan here? Could it be that the Dongling clan has really joined forces with Ming? Otherwise, they wouldn't have come here. Not good, we should retreat first. We can't provoke the other party's faction. It's fine. Look to the south. The dozen or so martial honors recognized the 30 or so martial honors in the distance. They were actually experts from the Dongling clan. However, after discovering the other party's strength, they all wanted to retreat. They didn't dare to stay here for long. Even if there were treasures here, they had to avoid the Dongling clan first. Just as they were about to leave, one of the Supreme Realm experts saw more than a dozen Supreme Realm experts coming from the south of the city. Moreover, there were also many martial artists coming from other directions. Ha, Ing Tian, you guys are here too. A peak second sky martial honored realm expert shouted. He also noticed the Dongling clan's experts in the distance. At this moment, they had to join forces or they would be defeated by the Dongling clan one by one. When they were in the square, Yuan Tian had said that the Dongling family had colluded with Ming. Now that the Dongling family had come here, they must have some sort of treasure. Otherwise, they wouldn't have gathered all their experts here. Taoist Master Songye, aren't you here too? Ing Tian said loudly. Then, some Supreme Realm experts began to greet him. Soon after, everyone began to discuss whether they should enter or leave the city. This time, almost all the experts in the square, including martial honors and martial emperors, had arrived. Some low-level martial artists had long been killed and devoured by the Umbra beasts. The experts of the Yi and Lan families also appeared here. In an instant, the experts of the Yi family's square gathered again. Li Lingtian did not know how long had passed before a cold sensation spread throughout his body. He slowly woke up and opened his eyes. His vision was blurry and dark, and he could not see where he was. However, the place he touched was cold. This feeling was like being in a gloomy cemetery. Although martial arts experts didn't believe in ghosts, there were ghosts and ghosts, as well as terrifying netherworld experts. All the meridians in his body had been sealed. His injured arm was numb, but the wound had already healed. Without any true essence, he stood up with difficulty and looked around carefully again. This place was actually a stone room. The stone room was dark and damp. There was a sinister feeling and a flicker of Yin fire from time to time. If Li Lingtian did not feel that he was still breathing and that his blood was slowly circulating, he would have thought that he was dead. He finally reached the stone wall and slowly walked forward with his hand on the cold stone wall. This place was a stone chamber, but it was only a part of it. Rather than calling it a stone chamber, it was more like a palace, an underground palace. After walking for an unknown amount of time, he had already walked through the entire palace. There were no stone doors in the palace, and every stone room was almost the same. Palace of Tragic Death. Xianming Pavilion. Azura Palace. Ghost King Palace. Dark Yin Palace. Yama Palace. Nether King Palace. This palace was extremely large. It formed the 9 palaces' 8 trigrams formation of humans. Every palace or hall was far away. It seemed far away, but it was only a step away. Even Li Lingtian was baffled by this feeling. In the end, he could only attribute it to the array formation. In other words, this place was a miniature version of the residence of a mighty figure in the underworld. The 16 individual small palaces formed a large palace. Li Lingtian had explored all of these places, but he could not enter any of them. He didn't have the strength to enter such a small palace. Each palace had a magical formation and restriction. If he had cultivation, he could easily enter and exit, but now that he did not have any true essence, it was just a dream to enter. Little White. Li Lingtian subconsciously called out to Little White, but there was no response. Only then did he remember that Little White and the silver-winged flying dragon were coveting Qingling. Now that he wanted to cultivate and recover, he needed strong protection. Without cultivation, it was definitely impossible for him to leave this place. A trace of disappointment appeared on his face. In the end, he called out for the jade-eyed beast and the multicolored beast. The 2 demonic beasts guarded Li Lingtian. Li Lingtian used his divine consciousness to enter the divine dragon ring, and the divine dragon ring disappeared. In the space of the divine dragon ring, Li Lingtian did not hesitate at all as he headed straight into the depths of the dragon abyss. After entering the dragon energy of the 3,000 worlds, his body entered the world of dragon energy and he immediately roared. This kind of pain was simply not something that a human could withstand. Li Lingtian's face had lost all color after losing consciousness countless times. However, there was a glimmer of hope on his face because the meridians in his body were gradually recovering. Although he could not recover immediately, there was still hope. As the days passed, Li Lingtian opened his eyes again to find that his meridians had recovered and the dragon energy in his body was surging. True Dragon Body Barrier, 3rd level, Breakthrough. Feeling the soaring dragon energy in his body, Li Lingtian activated the True Dragon Body Barrier and the dragon energy from the 3,000 worlds continued to enter his body. Although this was only the first world, the shocking dragon energy was extremely dense. Half an hour later, the dragon energy in his body reached its limit, and he broke through the 3rd layer of the True Dragon Body Barrier. A dragon-like aura surged out. True Dragon Body Barrier, the 3rd level, the power of the Azure Dragon. When it was used, 3 terrifying Azure Dragons swept across the world. Even a Supreme Realm expert would not dare to easily resist the destructive power. Moreover, it was the power of 3 berserk dragons. With the breakthrough of the True Dragon Body Barrier, not only was its offensive power incomparably powerful, but its defense had also reached a terrifying level. Although he did not dare to say that he was at the 3rd level of the Supreme Realm, he could withstand a full-force attack from a 1st-level Supreme Realm expert. This was the power of the True Dragon Body Protection. The dragon energy had also become purer. Although it could not compare to Little White, it was not much different. After breaking through the third layer of the true dragon body barrier, he did not expect that he would also loosen up as a level 1 martial emperor. Li Lingtian quickly left the divine dragon ring after realizing this problem. He appeared in the stone palace and sat cross-legged. He then began to circulate the heaven and earth reincarnation to achieve a breakthrough. As time ticked by, Li Lingtian's aura gradually changed. His aura became stronger and more stable. The 5-colored golden core in his dantian spun rapidly. Every time the 5-colored golden core spun, his true essence became stronger. In the end, his true essence completely sublimated, and the number of true essence in his dantian also increased. After a while, the golden core kept spinning and rolling. After a long time, the golden core calmed down and there was only a little true essence left. Most of the vital essence entered the 5-colored golden core and was absorbed and refined by the 5-colored golden core. The golden core grew. Moreover, the true essence in his dantian had also been refined by the golden core and was completely strengthened. After an unknown period of time, Li Lingtian opened his eyes. His gaze was sharp as it flashed with a gleam. I've broken through to the 2nd level of the martial emperor realm. His expression was calm and emotionless. His state of mind had also been elevated after this breakthrough. Then, he circulated his cultivation technique and stabilized his realm. He did not expect that he had broken through to rank 2 when he had broken through to the martial emperor realm half a month ago. It was the first time he had encountered such a thing. Li Lingtian did not leave after his cultivation base breakthrough and his strength had increased tremendously. Instead, he continued to familiarize himself with the Azure Dragon power. 2 days had passed and he was able to control the Azure Dragon power quite well. His strength had increased greatly, and his cultivation had broken through. It was time to find a way out. There were 16 individual palaces in this place. He did not know what was inside. He did as he thought. With a move of his divine sense, the divine formation diagram was displayed and he began to break the array. However, before breaking the array, he had also cast countless array formations. If any danger appeared, he could also hide in the array formation. Palace of Tragic Death. An hour later, the array formation of the Palace of the Tragic Death was broken. Li Lingtian extended his divine consciousness and searched the palace. There was no danger and nothing inside. Xianming Pavilion. Azura Palace. Nether King Palace. Yama Palace. As time went by, Li Lingtian's array formations were broken one by one and the 16 individual palaces were all ransacked. After the last palace, the Ming King Palace, was opened, all 16 individual palaces were searched by him. On the finger of his left hand, a green ring flickered with a strange light. Li Lingtian looked at the ring. This was his 3rd interspatial ring and there were 6 other magical treasures in it. He did not plan to use any of these treasures because they carried a dense yin qi. Only experts who cultivated the underworld technique could use them. Chapter 318, 9 Nether City. Chapter 318, 9 Nether City. Li Lingtian looked at the ring in his hand. This interspatial ring was also a treasure from the underworld. The underworld ring was a spatial ring. Just like the holy demon ring, it was a powerful independent space. As for the other treasures, he did not want to touch them at all. They were all treasures from the netherworld. He had many treasures on him, so he naturally did not want to get these sinister treasures from the netherworld. After he was done looting, Li Lingtian slowly made his way to the end of the palace as it was the exit. He had been to this place long ago. It was just that he did not have true essence at that time, so he was simply at his wit's end. Now that everything was settled, it was time to leave. Soon, they arrived at the end. At the end was a huge stone door. On the stone door were countless underworld beasts and underworld mighty figures, as well as countless mysterious formations. Subsequently, Li Lingtian sat cross-legged facing the stone door and began to study the array formation and engravings on the stone door in detail. 9 Nether City, a historical site left behind from ancient times. The Demon Clan, the Dark Clan, and the Human Clan were the most powerful clans in the ancient times. However, the war between the three races had never stopped. After the Great War of the Gods and Demons, the Demon race disappeared, and so did the Dark race. Every race had returned to their own realm. However, there were still many ruins of the Demon Clan and the Dark Clan on the human continent. There were also some survivors of the Demon Clan and the Dark Clan. This Jiuyou Ming city was also left behind from ancient times, but no one had discovered it. However, this time, the Dongling clan of Qinglan City found out about it and even colluded with the remnants of the Netherworld to make use of each other. The Dongling clan wanted to obtain the treasures of the 9 Nether City to dominate the Azure continent. They had never thought that after countless years of planning, they would actually open a spatial rift in the 9 Nether City during the war with the Yi clan, allowing countless experts to enter. At the same time, the Dongling clan's restriction that led to the 9 Nether City was also broken. This caught the Dongling clan off guard, and in the end, they still brought all their experts into the 9 Nether City. After entering, he found the Yi family, the Lan family, and countless Supreme Realm experts. He immediately felt depressed. No matter how powerful the Dongling family was, they didn't dare to go against all the experts at this time. In the end, they went their own ways and didn't disturb each other. After entering Jiuyou Ming City and going through countless assassinations and massacres, they finally found the palace in the center of Jiuyou Ming City. This is the last palace in Jiuyou Ming City. All the treasures are here. Dongling Mutian said loudly with a bitter look on his face. 37 martial honors from the Dongling clan had arrived, but now, there were only 6 martial honors left. Moreover, only 5 or 6 Supreme Realm experts from the Yi and Lan families survived. Alchemy Master Yuan and some super experts had all come. There were also countless experts who went to the wrong place and did not find this place. A total of 41 Supreme Realm experts arrived at the central palace of Jiuyou Ming City. When they saw the huge palace in front of them, they were all excited. Eastern Tomb Mutian, since you have such a good relationship with Ming Xiu, I believe that opening this palace should be very easy for you. Ying Tian looked at the Dongling Mutian. Now that everyone knew about the Dongling clan and Ming Xiu, they didn't have a good impression of the Dongling clan. In the past, the Dongling clan controlled the pills and made countless cultivators angry but not daring to speak up. Now, they finally had the chance. In this place, even if they killed the experts of the Dongling clan, it would be in vain. Dongling Mutian, I haven't settled the score with my Yi family yet. You better return alive or I'll wipe out your Dongling family from the Azure Mist City. Ya Linzong said coldly. The Dongling family had plotted against the Yi family, and now the truth was out. Eastern Tomb Mutian, just wait for the wrath of my Lan family. Lan Xiaoyao also stared coldly at the Eastern Tomb Mutian. In the past, a level 6 alchemist was high and mighty, but in this place, he had become the target of everyone's attacks. Hehe, Lan Xiaoyao, Yi Linzong, do you think your 2 clans are a match for my Dongling clan? You better not leave this place alive, or I'll make you regret ever being born. Dongling Mutian smiled bitterly in his heart. His Dongling family had planned for 100 years, but it was actually for someone else. If he had known this would happen, he would not have done such a thing. Now, the Dongling family's reputation had been ruined. Even if they found the treasure, the Dongling clan would have to face countless experts fighting over it. Brother Lan, Brother Yi, don't be angry here. Think of a way to open this palace first. Qing Shao looked at the Yi family and the Lan family. If they continued to fight like this, they would not be able to open this palace. Alright, let's open this palace door first. The other Supreme Realm experts also agreed. Then, everyone began to think of a way to break through the palace door. Seconds passed. Countless experts thought of all the methods, but they could not find a good one. Even the Dongling clan had no way to open the door to this palace. However, at this moment, the palace door creaked and slowly opened. This scene shocked all the experts. Could there really be ghosts in this world? The stone door of this palace actually opened automatically. However, all the experts were stunned. A young man in white walked out of the palace with a faint smile on his face. He strolled outside with a calm expression on his face. Why is it you? Sir Ling Tian, why are you inside? Why did you come out from inside? For a moment, all the experts were shocked. Their faces were filled with doubt and greed. Apothecary Yuan and the other Supreme Realm martial artists knew Li Lingtian. They had witnessed how terrifying Li Lingtian was during the battle in the square. They did not expect him to walk out of the palace. Don't say any more. One met in giant pain, that bastard. I don't know how I fell into this. Li Lingtian looked at the many powerhouses. Moreover, the powerhouses here were all at level 2 Supreme Realm and there were even level 3 Supreme Realm powerhouses. He had almost died when he encountered a level 3 heaven. If these guys knew that he had obtained a treasure, wouldn't he be smashed into pieces? As he spoke, the smile on his face became sinister, as if he had seen his sworn enemy. The dozens of powerful Supreme Realm experts were stunned when they saw this. Sir Ling Tian, you met in giant pain. Yun Yuansheng was also shocked. He knew that in giant pain's strength was not inferior to his. Moreover, he had mastered a mysterious skill. Even he did not dare to be careless. Also, not many people knew In Jian Pain. He didn't think that Sir Lingtian would know this person. It seemed like there was some hatred between the two of them. The other Supreme Realm martial artists had also heard of In Jian Pain. They were also extremely shocked. A martial emperor could actually escape from In Jian Pain's hands. It was really heaven-defying. This despicable person. One only killed Tong Yunfei, yet he sneakily attacked me. Li Lingtian said coldly as he laughed to himself. It would be eking waste of his talent if he did not become the best actor. At the same time, he thought of In Jian Pain. If he met this guy again, he could also fight him. Even if he could not defeat him, he would not be in such a sorry state. Sir Ling Tian, did you meet? Rumble. A martial honor powerhouse asked Li Lingtian about the treasures he had encountered inside, but before he could finish, there was a loud explosion. The palace in front of him suddenly changed. The palace that was originally only 100 meters in size suddenly expanded. The ground was also changing continuously as Li Lingtian quickly pulled away from the dozens of powerful warriors. It was not them who were moving, but the earth was expanding. Initially, Li Lingtian and Apothecary Yun Yuansheng were less than 10 meters apart, but in an instant, they were more than 100 miles apart. In an instant, the ground became 10,000 times larger, and the palace quickly split apart, forming a dozen palaces of different sizes. In the center of the palace, a shocking tower stood. By the time the martial artist reacted, all these changes had already stopped. All the warriors were puzzled by the change just now. Such a change had actually occurred on this land. Martial artists had the ability to shrink the ground into inches, but they didn't have the ability to extend an inch of land. Such a small palace had actually become thousands of times larger. Li Lingtian was the most shocked as he was the one who knew the situation inside best. Inside, there were 16 places. They were very small, but now, 16 palaces had undergone such changes. More importantly, there was no tower in the middle. Now, there was a tower. Swoosh, swoosh. Swoosh, swoosh. Sir Ling Tian, I'll go in now. Immediately, all the martial honor powerhouses flew in. Even alchemist Yun Yuan, the esteemed alchemist, bade farewell to Li Lingtian and left before quickly entering the palace. In the blink of an eye, Li Lingtian was the only one left outside the palace. Li Lingtian shook his head. He did not know how the powerhouses would react, and they realized that the treasure was gone. His body flashed and he followed behind. However, he didn't enter the 16 palaces, but the tower in the center. In a flash, Li Lingtian had flown 1,000 miles and arrived before the central tower. When he entered the tower, it was a huge array altar. Li Lingtian stared at the array altar with a changing expression on his face. He was already very familiar with this palace. Naturally, he would not take the original route and directly came to the tower. However, when he looked at the array altar on the tower, his expression changed. This array altar was actually a divine array. Divine array diagram, sacrifice. His heart kept beating. He didn't know what was under the array altar. He wanted to leave, but he was curious and couldn't bear to leave. After pondering for a while, he took out the divine array diagram and started to tidy up the array on the array altar, using the divine array diagram to break it. Strange spells were cast one after another. The divine array diagram emitted a faint light. At the same time, the array altar also emitted a light. The two rays of light shone on each other, causing the array altar to tremble. Li Lingtian's heart skipped a beat as a destructive aura soared into the sky. His entire body bounced up, but he was still shocked. The aura felt familiar. Chapter 319, Chapter 319, Heavenly Sword Body, Heavenly Fault Sword. Chapter 319, Heavenly Sword Body, Heavenly Fault Sword. Bang! As light descended, the light on the array altar became even stronger. As Li Lingtian's body entered the light, his entire body was devoid of strength. It was as if he had entered a hot spring. His body disappeared from the array altar and entered the soft world. This feeling almost made Li Lingtian fall asleep. Although it was a comfortable feeling, he knew that there was no such thing in this world. Often, behind gentleness was destruction. However, no matter how hard one tried to concentrate, they could not resist this kind of gentle and comfortable feeling that made one depressed. At this moment, fear struck. Boom! The familiar aura of destruction appeared again, but this time, it carried the pressure of destruction and suppressed him fiercely. The destructive aura continued to tear his body apart. This aura came from all directions. Li Lingtian floated in the air and allowed his body to be torn apart. The true dragon body barrier automatically defended him, and the moment his body was torn apart, the dragon energy within the true dragon body barrier restored him. The repeated tearing and repairing process had gone on for billions of times. Li Lingtian's body was covered in blood and his face was deathly pale. Moreover, his face had long been distorted. He had also experienced what it meant to be better off dead. At this moment, he might as well die. This feeling was even more terrifying and painful than the 3000 dragon energy world. The destructive pain in his body and mind made it impossible for him to faint even if he wanted to. His mind was extremely clear. While he was in pain, he could clearly sense that this aura was sword intent. It couldn't be said to be sword intent, because it had already exceeded the scope of sword intent. Stronger than sword intent, he wasn't sure what exactly it was. Break and then build, the heavenly sword is reborn. A terrifying will entered his sea of consciousness, and this will attacked his divine sense. Li Lingtian felt as if he was trapped in the air. His body was being torn apart and repaired while his awareness was being attacked by the destructive will. His entire being was on the verge of death. Eye of the Divine Soul. Li Lingtian chanted silently in his mind and cast the Eye of the Divine Soul. This time, the Eye of the Divine Soul was not cast externally but internally. In his sea of consciousness, an earth-shaking battle started. A shocking will, a terrifying soul consciousness, and a soul consciousness were constantly entangled with the foreign will. The will was everywhere, devouring the soul and consciousness, strengthening the soul and consciousness, constantly resisting and resisting. After an unknown period of time, the divine sense and will began a tug-of-war, and it was impossible to determine the winner at the moment. God's soul. Divine spark. His will suddenly felt a sense of fear because he felt that the divine sense in this human body was actually going berserk. This divine sense and soul were far beyond his imagination. The soul of a true God and the divine soul of a heaven and earth mutation, when these two things came together, it almost destroyed the will in the blink of an eye. What made it even more terrified was that a divine spark had appeared in this body, a pure divine spark of heaven and earth. Two mysterious things had actually appeared on a human. Such terrifying things immediately made the will tremble. Feeling his will tremble, his divine soul eyes, divine sparks, and powerful soul power attacked his will. There was a loud bang in his sea of consciousness, and his will was scattered. In the end, it was quickly devoured by his divine sense and the eyes of his divine soul. At this moment, the Godhead returned to its original place as if it had never moved. Heavenly Sword Body. Ancient Heavenly Sword Body. Li Lingtian's consciousness and soul crushed the will and discovered that it was the will of the Heavenly Sword physique. In his pain, he was also shocked by this information and could not help burst out. One could imagine how powerful the impact of the Heavenly Sword physique on him was. At this moment, the destructive aura in the air no longer tore apart. Instead, it quickly entered his body and continuously strengthened and tempered his body. The shocking aura rushed into Li Lingtian's body and knocked him out. His body was constantly tempered, and his divine sense was also constantly digesting the information of the Heavenly Sword physique. After an unknown period of time, Li Lingtian slowly woke up. His body was obviously changing and this change surprised him. However, what surprised him even more was what he saw. In front of him was a world of swords. There were tens of thousands of sharp swords, and each of them was in existence above profound level. With so many profound level long swords, it was a visual impact. Each sword was worth hundreds of thousands of spirit stones, but there were thousands of swords here. This was a world of swords, and he was floating above it. Now, his eyes were attracted by the 36 Supreme Emperor weapons, which were emitting terrifying sword qi. This world was completely dominated by swords and Li Lingtian was just an outsider. If he had not experienced so much, he would have fainted from the majestic sword qi. The 36 monarch weapon swords led thousands of swords. One of the imperial weapons trembled, and the other hundreds and thousands of swords trembled as well. Boom! Just as Li Lingtian was in shock, a similarly translucent sword among the 36 emperor weapon longswords spun out. As the longsword spun, the longswords in this world trembled as if they were worshipping this longsword. It was crystal clear and was exactly the same as his own Tianyu sword, except that it emitted a shocking sword intent. HRNPH, sword intent. Li Lingtian snorted. The tempering of the Heavenly Sword physique's aura had allowed him to attain the Heavenly Sword physique. His sword will had also reached a terrifying peak. The sword intent in his entire body soared into the sky and pressed down on the long sword in the middle. Instantly, 10,000 swords trembled. Sacrifice. The sword intent and the long sword clashed. Li Lingtian's heart stirred as a drop of blood essence floated toward the long sword. Instantly, the long sword trembled even more as it continued to repel Li Lingtian's blood essence. However, Li Lingtian's sword will suppressed it and the blood essence began to corrode the long sword. 10 minutes later, the long sword finally quieted down, and so did the 10,000 swords. With a flick of his divine consciousness, the long sword flew over. Instantly, 10,000 swords followed suit and surrounded Li Lingtian. As Li Lingtian's blood essence entered the long sword, a consciousness was gradually connected. This long sword caused his expression to change drastically. He was even more surprised. The Heavenly Fault Sword, one of the 5 great saint weapons. He had never expected that this long sword that looked exactly like the Tianyu sword was actually the Heavenly Fault Sword. The divine martial continent had 5 supreme saint weapons. When 5 swords were combined, they would release a shocking power. Now, he had actually obtained 2 of them. Boom! In his body, the sword intent, the heavenly fault sword intent, and the sword intent of the 10,000 swords fused together. The originally peak sword intent quickly mutated. Gradually, the sword will turn ethereal, and this change shocked Li Lingtian. He closed his eyes slightly and felt the aura of the 10,000 swords. His entire person entered a state of emptiness. If anyone were to see him in this state, their jaws would drop in shock because Li Lingtian had entered a state of epiphany. Enlightenment was a legendary enlightenment that could only be encountered by chance. This enlightenment did not have a certain rule, but a flash of inspiration. He did not expect Li Lingtian to enter the state of epiphany so easily. After an unknown period of time, Li Lingtian slowly extended his right hand and gently waved it. Instantly, a sword aura appeared out of thin air. Force, everything has force, it's just that you haven't noticed it. Sword force was also a form of force. No matter what skill or weapon it was, it had its own force. At this moment, it had surpassed the limits of the transcendent state. With a wave of his hand, a tiny crack appeared on the ground. The crack carried a destructive sword chi. This is the sword aura. Li Lingtian muttered to himself calmly without the slightest change in expression. It was the first time he had grasped sure and felt its existence. The sword had 4 realms, namely sword intent, sword force, sword domain, and sword Dao. He had obtained sword intent, and now he had achieved sword force. This was a sublimation that could only be encountered by chance. Billions of martial artists could never touch the existence of force in their entire lives, but he had comprehended sword force. The sword aura was the most overbearing existence in the world, and also the sharpest aura. At that moment, Li Lingtian's expression changed as he sensed the changes in his dantian. He did not know when his cultivation had risen from a level 2 martial emperor to the current level 4 martial emperor. Moreover, his realm was extremely stable. This discovery made him feel as if he had seen a ghost. Then, he could only attribute all this to the sword force and the body of Rhe. Heavenly sword. Otherwise, he would not be able to explain it clearly. Myriad returning swords, refine it. He checked his body carefully. There was no change. The only change was that his cultivation had increased and his strength had soared. There was no problem at all. Moreover, he had achieved the heavenly sword physique. Then, he looked at the 10,000 swords and his face revealed a look of joy. He had cultivated the 10,000 returning swords. In the past, he had relied on the sharp swords of other martial artists. Now, he had so many swords. Moreover, these swords had been used for a long time with the heavenly fault sword and had reached an incomparable tacit understanding. When he used them, their power was even more terrifying. He sat cross-legged and began to use his sword intent and sword force, as well as the capital of the heavenly sword body, to refine these long swords. These long swords were all at the level of profound level weapons and above. With the addition of 36 heaven weapons as the catalyst, he did not know how powerful the myriad of swords would be. As the days passed, Li Lingtian opened his eyes for the first time. All the swords had disappeared. A ball of light appeared in Li Lingtian's hand. Within the ball of light, there were countless exquisite little swords that looked like ants. Li Lingtian had compressed all the swords and gathered them together. When he cast them, they would burst out in an instant, forming a world of swords. Furthermore, the heavenly fault sword had been refined and kept in his dantian. He could not fuse the 2 supreme saint weapons yet. He could only fuse them if he found the other 3 swords. However, there was a slight connection between the 2 swords. When he used myriad returning swords, he could also use it at the same time. At the same time, he could also use any sword at will. Li Lingtian looked around and saw that everything had disappeared. He was now standing in a stone chamber that had been suppressed. He kept the ball of light, and the true essence in his body slowly circulated. His entire body slowly floated up, looking at the sky, and his eyes were slightly closed. The sword will burst out, and a shocking sword will fill the stone room. He casually waved his hand toward the sky. Chapter 320, Chapter 320, Ming Xiu appears. Chapter 320, Ming Xiu appears. Crash. A faint sword aura flashed across the sky. Li Lingtian slowly opened his eyes. At that moment, a crack appeared on the stone wall that was suppressing the sky. The sword's momentum had cut a fine line on the stone wall. The lines extended rapidly, and with a final crash, the stone wall that was suppressing Li Lingtian shattered. Li Lingtian's body also shot up into the sky. The true dragon's protective shield protected his body. His body passed through the stone wall, and when he reappeared, he was already above the array altar. The array altar had also turned into countless fragments. The moment he appeared, Li Lingtian saw a dozen revered martial artists staring at him in a daze. Everyone. Li Lingtian looked at the dozen or so revered martial artists and called out softly to wake them up. However, wherever his gaze passed, he saw a familiar figure. A trace of killing intent flashed across his eyes, and his expression was calm and without any fluctuation. He slowly descended and looked at the dozen revered martial artists with a smile. He had seen the Yi family, Lan family, Dongling family, and Pill Master Yuan among the dozen or so martial supremes. Yin Jianpain was also here. How could he forget the expert who almost killed him? However, at this moment, everyone was covered in wounds, and their faces were filled with fear, as if they had encountered a ghost. Sir Ling Tian, why is it you? What's going on? Grandmaster Yuan asked in shock when she saw Li Lingtian. The other revered martial artists were also looking at Li Lingtian in shock. Li Lingtian was puzzled by this expression. He then looked at alchemy master Yuan with a questioning gaze. Sir Yuan, what happened? Li Lingtian also felt that something was amiss. There must be something that he was unaware of. Otherwise, these revered martial artists would not behave like this. Looking at their appearance, they must have gone through a great battle. If it was not for the treasures, the Supreme Realm experts would not fight each other. However, he had already plundered all the treasures, so it was naturally not for the treasures. Ming Xiu also entered this place. You didn't encounter him. The expression on Grandmaster Yuan's face could not calm down. The terror of Ming Xiu had already exceeded his imagination. Ming Xiu, you've met Ming Xiu. I didn't see Ming Xiu when I came out. Li Lingtian was also surprised. He had been in there for so long, but he had not seen Ming Xiu. Besides, there was only one stone chamber with no exit. It was impossible for Ming Xiu to enter. Unless Ming Xiu knew formations and had a god formation diagram, it was impossible for him to enter. Looking at the appearance of these Supreme Realm experts, they must have fought with Ming Xiu and were even beaten to such a state. Ming Xiu obtained the Heart of Yama, and his cultivation has reached the 8th level of the martial honored realm. We also killed more than 20 experts. Ming Xiu was injured by us and disappeared here. Ying Tian said, explaining the reason behind the matter. They didn't expect to be trapped the moment they entered. More than 40 Supreme Realm experts were killed one by one, leaving only a dozen of them. Ming Xiu was also seriously injured, but he obtained the Heart of Yama and broke through to the 8th level of the Supreme Realm. In the end, he was self-destructed by a Supreme Realm expert. He could not resist in time and escaped with serious injuries. He disappeared here. Li Lingtian's sudden appearance made everyone think that Ming Xiu had come out. Impossible. There is a stone room below that is suppressed by a divine array. Other than me, no one can break this array. As Li Lingtian spoke, he activated his divine mind and unleashed the divine array diagram. This was proof that no one could break the array without it. That's strange. Ming Xiu disappeared here. The expressions of all the Supreme Realm experts changed. If Ming Xiu was not here, where did he go? Divine Array Diagram, Heaven and Earth Array. Heaven Sealing Formation. Without the slightest hesitation, Li Lingtian flicked his 10 fingers and cast a series of magic arts. Suddenly, a huge ray of light appeared and covered the area within a radius of 10 miles. None of the powerhouses knew what Li Lingtian was up to. They were all looking at him curiously. Come out. You have nowhere to hide in front of me. Li Lingtian pointed his finger out and the light shield trembled. A mysterious radiance was emitted from within the light shield. Shameless. Arg! A scream sounded out as a hidden figure appeared above the array altar. A terrified expression appeared on his face as a mysterious light continuously corroded his body. Ming. Pill Master Yuan and the others didn't expect that. They didn't even notice that Ming was right in front of them. At the same time, the dozen revered martial artists were wary of Li Lingtian. This young man had just broken through to the martial royal realm, yet he had such a mysterious trick up his sleeve. When the few revered martial artists thought of Li Lingtian's cultivation base, they could not help but glance at him. It would have been fine if they did not look at him, but when they did, they were shocked. Sir Lingtian, your cultivation base. How did you reach the 4th level of the martial emperor realm? Alchemist Yuan and the others had witnessed Li Lingtian's breakthrough from a martial grandmaster to a martial emperor with their own eyes. However, in less than a month, he was now a Tier 4 martial emperor. They thought that they were seeing things, but when they saw the others, they were sure that they were not seeing things. Li Lingtian had already reached Tier 4 martial emperor. In this way, he would be able to break through a level every 5 to 6 days. Even a martial apprentice would not be able to break through so quickly. This was a martial emperor. Even a super genius would not be able to break through to the next level without a few years. However, such a thing had actually happened to this young man. What's wrong? Isn't it just a 4th level martial emperor? The other Supreme Realm experts were puzzled when they saw the shock of Alchemy Saint Yuan and the others. They said indifferently. However, all the Supreme Realm experts were stunned by what Grandmaster Yuan said. A rank 4 martial emperor is nothing. What if he only reaches rank 1 martial emperor from a martial grandmaster in a month? Alchemy Master Yuan glanced at the Supreme Realm expert beside him disdainfully. He was still in shock. What? A month ago, he was still a martial arts grandmaster who broke through to the martial emperor realm. Now, he has actually reached the 4th rank. All the revered martial artists were stunned. This blow was even worse than seeing a ghost. Breaking through to Tier 4 in a month? What kind of person was this? Even a god couldn't do it. Boom! The heaven and earth formation and the heaven-locking formation trembled continuously. The shocked Supreme Realm experts also woke up. The young man in front of him was not human. He was a monster. He could not be calculative with this young man. If he were to be serious, he would lose. Comparisons were infuriating, but people would be fools if they wanted to compare themselves to evildoers. Ming, who was inside the heaven-locking formation, kept bombarding the formation. The formation was about to be destroyed at any moment. The last trace of true essence in the bodies of more than a dozen Supreme Realm experts circulated as they looked at Ming in horror. There is only one way to kill him. Li Lingtian looked at Ming who was inside the array formation. He flicked his fingers and the divine array diagram's radiance flickered even more intensely. His expression was grave. This Ming was still at the 4th heaven and had only forcefully raised his cultivation to the 8th heaven. His strength was violent but unstable. If he was not careful, he would fall back to his original realm. However, Ming current cultivation level was extremely terrifying. Even the divine array diagram could only suppress him temporarily. He would not be able to suppress him later. The only way was to use the true essence of a Supreme Realm expert to stabilize this array and quickly consume Xiao Ming's true essence. At that time, he would use the myriad returning swords to kill Xiao Ming in one fell swoop. Otherwise, when he reacted, they would be finished. If he didn't kill Ming Xiu in Jiuyou City, he would be a future threat. At that time, he wouldn't be able to find an exit in peace. Even if there was an exit, he wouldn't be able to leave. We can kill him. Dongling Mutian was shocked. The other martial venerables were also shocked. A martial emperor actually said such words. He really would not rest until he shocked everyone. He's just a 4th level Supreme Realm expert. On the surface, he's only at the 8th level. However, if his realm drops to the 4th level later, won't it be easy to kill him? Li Lingtian snorted coldly. He did not have a good impression of this Dongling Mutian. After all, the ruffian Dongling Yu had made him a little angry. He was afraid of the Dongling family's strength and allowed Dongling Yu to live in his hands. In the end, the Dongling clan had colluded with the remnants of the Netherworld. This made him look down on the Dongling clan even more. Any family or warrior could be despicable, but they couldn't collude with outsiders. Colluding with outsiders was worse than betraying the country. Sir Ling Tian is right. We've already seen the situation clearly. He forcefully advanced to the 8th heaven. However, it's easier said than done to return his realm to its original state. Even a martial supreme can't do it. Apothecary Yuan was surprised that Li Lingtian could see through Xiu Ming's background with a single glance. Then, he asked the question that puzzled all the revered martial artists. Was there any way to lower his realm? From the looks of it, Li Lingtian seemed to have a solution. I'll cast a formation. You guys use your true qi to stabilize the formation. At a certain time, his cultivation level will waver. Li Lingtian spoke nonchalantly as if he was talking about something as simple as eating. The dozen revered martial artists were rendered speechless. Was there such a thing in this world? Even if there was such an array, it was impossible for them to use their true essence to stabilize the array. The true essence in their bodies could not last for a moment. Sir Ling Tian, I'm afraid this won't do. By the time we recover our true origin, it'll already be a few hours later. At that time, this array would have been broken long ago, and we would have died here. Grandmaster Yuan revealed a bitter smile. Even if he had pills, it would take him a few hours to recover his true qi. By then, this Xiu Ming would have come out. It's fine. This is simple. Li Lingtian took out a jade bottle and took out a dozen pills from it. Then, the dozen pills flew toward all the revered martial artists. A faint medicinal fragrance lingered in the air. The refreshing medicinal fragrance lifted the spirits of the dozen revered martial artists. They wondered what Li Lingtian's elixir was for. Chapter 321, Chapter 321, 10,000 Swords Return to the Origin. Chapter 321, 10,000 Swords Return to the Origin. More than a dozen Supreme Realm experts received the pills that flew over from the sky, and their faces revealed puzzled expressions. This is a pill that one refined to restore true essence. You can try it. Li Lingtian said calmly. He had no choice but to take out the heaven-defying pill to deal with Xiu Ming. If he was alone, he would definitely not be able to kill Xiu Ming. Now, he still had to rely on these powerful Supreme Realm experts. After he finished speaking, his gaze turned towards Ming Xiu, who was in the array. He was shocked in his heart. This Xiu Ming was indeed powerful. The heaven-locking formation and heaven-earth formation that he had cast were extremely powerful, yet they were actually about to be destroyed. The heaven and earth formation and the heaven-locking formation were both created by mighty figures in ancient times. They had the power to lock the sky. One could imagine how powerful this heaven and earth formation was. When he looked at Ming Xiu in the array, the expressions of the 10 or so Supreme Realm experts behind him changed drastically, revealing expressions of disbelief. Out of the 16 revered martial artists, Yuan was a divine alchemist. Naturally, he had indelible experience in alchemy. He was the first to examine the elixir Li Lingtian handed over. As a saint alchemist, he had witnessed some of the miraculous pills Li Lingtian had refined with his own eyes. He was extremely curious about the pills Li Lingtian was taking out. From his experience in alchemy, he understood Li Lingtian's character. This young man would never do anything he was not confident in. When the pill was thrown into his mouth, his expression changed drastically. When the other 15 revered martial artists saw the change in the saint alchemist's expression, they were all shocked. They thought that this pill was poisonous. Your Excellency Alchemy Saint. Ying Tian and the other revered martial artists looked at Pill Master Yuan in confusion. If Pill Master Yuan was poisoned, they could choose not to take this pill. After all, the human heart was unpredictable. Who knew if Li Lingtian was plotting against them? In a place like this, it was all about fighting for treasures and killing for them. What a magical pill! It can instantly restore a revered martial artist's true origin to its peak. Sir Lingtian, what's the name of this pill? I've never heard of a revered martial artist's true origin recovery pill. Apothecary Yuan did not answer the other revered martial artists. Instead, he asked Li Lingtian excitedly. As a super alchemist, he naturally wanted to refine some of such miraculous pills. Instantly restore the true essence of a supreme realm expert. How is that possible? It's really that powerful. This is too heaven-defying. If that's the case, the supreme realm experts won't have to worry about exhausting their true essence. All of a sudden, all the supreme realm experts were shocked, and their expressions changed continuously. One had to know that when martial artists fought, the consumption of primeval essence was extremely fast. No matter what move they used, they should try to use as little primeval essence as possible. Every strand of true essence was an important cultivation base for survival. Many experts tried their best to save their true essence during the battle. This was because the higher a martial artist's cultivation was, the slower his true essence would recover. For a martial honor, it would take at least 5 hours to recover his true essence to its peak. 5 hours to recover primeval essence. Who gave you that time during a great battle? During a great battle, without true essence, martial artists were no different from ordinary people. True essence had also become the most precious thing for martial artists. They often did not even dare to use their ultimate moves easily. Once they used it, their true essence would be consumed terrifyingly. Now, someone had actually refined a pill that could instantly recover true essence. With this pill, one could instantly recover true essence. When fighting with the opponent, one would be able to recover true essence unexpectedly and catch the opponent off guard. Oh, I named this pill myself. It's called the Heaven-Defying Pill. Li Lingtian watched as Ming continued to bombard the array formation. He did not turn his head as he spoke indifferently, ignoring the change in the martial honors expression. After one kill Ming Xiu this time, one will give the pill formula to Sir Yuan. Li Lingtian's expression turned grave. If he did not take action to suppress Ming Xiu, the array would be broken. This pill sage Yuan owed him a favor. Even if Yuan took this pill formula, she might not be able to refine it. Why not do him a favor? Alright, thank you, Sir Lingtian. Apothecary Yuan had also tried to get the recipe from Li Lingtian. However, since the elixir was so precious, he did not know how to ask for it. He never expected Li Lingtian to give him the recipe. He was instantly excited. Naturally, he knew that Li Lingtian was returning his favor. He had a new opinion of Li Lingtian and could not help but admire this young man. Everyone, don't delay anymore. Otherwise, we'll all die here. Li Lingtian shifted his gaze to the other revered martial artists. When he saw that the 15 revered martial artists had not consumed the elixir, he immediately reminded them. He didn't take out this precious pill for them to keep. He needed true essence to suppress Ming Xiu. Alright. The dozen revered martial artists were reluctant to throw the elixir into their mouths. There was only one elixir and it would be gone once it was used. However, since it was Li Lingtian who had taken it out, they could not refuse to use it. The moment the pill was thrown into their mouths, the expressions on the faces of the dozen Supreme Realm experts changed rapidly. They still did not believe it when they heard alchemy master Yuan say that this pill could instantly restore true essence. However, when he personally experienced it, he was truly shocked and believed in the power of this medicinal pill. The true essence that had just disappeared instantly recovered to its peak state. Truly heaven-defying. In the hearts of more than a dozen Supreme Realm experts, they could only use the word heaven-defying to describe this medicinal pill. Indeed, it was a heaven-defying existence. Li Lingtian explained the method to suppress Ming after his primordial spirit recovered. The 16 revered martial artists used their primordial qi to stabilize the array formation while Li Lingtian used other array formations to deplete Ming primordial qi and shake up his cultivation base. Li Lingtian unleashed his divine consciousness and cast a series of incantation gestures. The divine array diagram vibrated rapidly as a golden radiance enveloped the heaven-locking array. All the Supreme Realm experts slowly unleashed their true essence. The light shield began to stabilize after receiving the true essence. For a moment, Ming Xiu, who was in the middle of the light barrier, became even crazier. Because his true essence was rapidly flowing away, a strange aura was transmitted into the array formation, and his realm slowly loosened up. A warrior's realm and cultivation were the second life of a warrior. A drop in realm was a heavy burden that a warrior could not bear. Now, his realm was loose and his true essence was flowing rapidly. If this continued, his 8th level Supreme Realm cultivation base, which he had just broken through, would fall again. At that time, even if they left this strange array, they would be killed by more than a dozen Supreme Realm experts. Rumble. Rumble. The heaven-locking formation and the heaven and earth formation flashed rapidly, and muffled sounds erupted between heaven and earth. The dozen or so Supreme Realm experts did not dare to be careless or hold back. They quickly circulated their true essence and stabilized the array. Li Lingtian's fingers did not stop as he cast a series of magic arts to reinforce the array formation. A hint of delight appeared on his face as it was obvious that Ming Xiu's state was unstable in the array formation. Damn it! 10 minutes passed. Ming Xiu roared in the array. The 8th level of the Supreme Realm had already fallen to the 7th level of the Supreme Realm. Seeing this situation, the dozen Supreme Realm experts also saw hope and were shocked. If this young man treated them like this, wouldn't their cultivation be the same as Ming Xiu's? He naturally did not know that this array could only shake the realm. It was only useful against martial artists who forcefully raised their realms. Rumble. The true essence of more than a dozen Supreme Realm experts flowed out quickly. In half an hour, their true essence was almost exhausted. However, at this time, they were only at the 5th level of the Ming cultivation realm. Wait a moment. Li Lingtian shouted when he saw the gazes of alchemy master Yuan and the others. He knew that they could not hold on any longer. The 5th level of the Supreme Realm was still too powerful. A 5th level could directly ignore all the powerhouses below the 5th or 4th level. The Yi family square was an example. No one could kill a level 5 heaven. Rumble. With a shocking explosion, the array was quickly torn apart. The 16 Supreme Realm experts were also thrown up and finally fell to the ground fiercely. The array exploded. Ming Xiu's body soared into the sky as well. His face was filled with rage as he glared at Li Lingtian coldly. The 8th level of the Supreme Realm had fallen to the original 4th level. If his original realm had stabilized for a few years, he would definitely have reached the 8th level. Now, his dream had been destroyed by this young man in front of him. He must make this young man suffer a fate worse than death. However, when his body soared into the sky, his face revealed a shocked expression. A destructive sword intent bombarded down. The young man in the air was floating, and his body was emitting a strange and destructive sword intent. This kind of sword intent was enough to destroy the minds of Supreme Realm experts. With a cruel smile on his face, Li Lingtian reached out with one hand and a ball of light appeared before him. The heavenly fault sword was also unleashed. Myriad swords returned to the origin. Li Lingtian said calmly. Suddenly, the ball of light exploded, and the world became a world of swords. Over 10,000 sharp swords, each of them was a profound level weapon or above, and there were even imperial weapons. All! The 16 Supreme Realm martial artists exclaimed in shock when they saw the Space Destruction Sword Will and the Destruction Sharp Swords around Li Lingtian. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The tens of thousands of sharp swords began to spin and quickly press down on Ming. The Heavenly Fault Sword in the middle and the 16 Emperor weapon swords all spun with destructive sword light. CC, CC. CC, CC. All! In the air, tens of thousands of sharp swords bombarded in an instant. The air was also reduced to pieces, and countless sword silks formed a grid. With a miserable cry, the fourth-level martial honored realm Ming was turned into dust in front of the myriad returning swords. In the sword array, Ming no longer existed. Within 100 meters of space, a vacuum had formed. There was no air at all. Rumble. On the ground, a black hole the size of the front appeared. The black hole was unknown how deep it was. This was the myriad returning swords landing on the ground, and the ground was destroyed. Seeing this move, the 16 Supreme Realm experts were completely stunned. Chapter 322, Chapter 322, Leaving Jiuyou Ming City. Chapter 322, Leaving Jiuyou Ming City. Retract. Li Lingtian swiped his hand across the air and released his divine consciousness. The sword formation in the air vanished and the heavenly fault sword entered his glabella before turning into a stream of light and entering his dantian. What a terrifying sword intent! Even a heaven-grade divine ability might not be so powerful. What a powerful myriad returning swords! It's actually the legendary 10,000 returning swords. Sword intent, no, there's a trace of sword aura in it. More than a dozen Supreme Realm experts muttered to themselves when they saw the power of the myriad returning swords. When he looked at Li Lingtian again, his expression changed as well. He no longer dared to regard this young man as a martial emperor. This young man was a saint alchemist and a terrifying martial emperor. Even a fourth-level martial honored realm might not be able to defeat him. Even though Ming was exhausted, he was killed by Li Lingtian when he was caught off guard. However, this move was completely invincible. He was killed without the slightest resistance. Even he did not have the slightest confidence to withstand this move. This was an instant kill, a real instant kill. It was an instant kill of the fourth-level Supreme Realm Ming. The fourth firmament of underworld cultivation was not the only level of strength. In that case, even a third firmament cultivator would not be able to escape from Li Lingtian's hands. Sir Yuan, this is the pill formula. However, the medicinal herbs on this pill formula are precious and it is very difficult to refine it. One hopes Sir Yuan can refine it. As he spoke, he took out a pill formula and a jade bottle containing 10 heaven-defying pills. This pill formula was also rearranged by him. It was originally the blue dust pills pill formula, but he had changed it once. His body flashed, and he found a storage bag and a blood-red crystal on the ground. Inside the crystal, there was an exquisite heart beating. This was the legendary heart of Hades. Without even looking at it, Li Lingtian placed the two items into a separate jade box. After casting a few seals, he stored them into the underworld ring. The dozen or so revered martial artists witnessed all of this, but they did not stop Li Lingtian at all. Li Lingtian's strength was too terrifying and provoking him was akin to courting death. In giant pain, I don't want to bully the weak, but there must be an end to the matter between us. I can let you go now, but if one see you, that will be the time of your death. Li Lingtian walked up step by step and stood 10 meters in front of Jiuyang. He had a faint smile on his face, but his tone was extremely cold. As he spoke, his aura slowly rose. In the eyes of the other revered martial artists, it was as if Li Lingtian was a revered martial artist and Jiuyang was a martial emperor. Their cultivation bases and statuses were almost reversed, but they quickly regained their senses. This was strength. With strength, a martial emperor could ignore a martial honor. This was how things were now. Li Lingtian, a young martial emperor, was speaking to a martial honor in such a manner. Li Lingtian failed to kill you last time, but he won't be so lucky next time. Jiuyang did not expect Li Lingtian to make things difficult for him. However, judging from Li Lingtian's expression, he did not want to make things difficult for Jiuyang. After witnessing the attack just now, he no longer had any confidence in facing Li Lingtian. All the revered martial artists could tell that Jiuyang did not look like a powerhouse at all when facing this young man. You should know where the exit of the eastern tomb Mutian is, right? Are we still not leaving? Li Lingtian looked at the eastern tomb Mutian as he spoke indifferently. There was no longer anything to stay here. The only one who knew the exit was the Dongling Mutian and the other experts of the Dongling clan. After Li Lingtian finished speaking, the other martial honors looked at Dongling Mutian. The Dongling clan was here for the treasure, but the other martial honors were not. Since they had not found the treasure, the most important thing was to leave this gloomy place. Hee. When the eastern tomb Mutian saw the gazes of all the martial honors, he was also under great pressure. If he did not say it, he would definitely be killed by these martial honors. However, he was still unwilling to leave just like that. For the treasures here, his Dongling clan had sacrificed too much. Now that the Dongling family had lost countless martial honors, their influence would definitely be outside of the top 10 families. You don't have to tell me, but I believe that the rest of the Dongling clan should know. Li Lingtian said calmly before he turned around and left. His expression was calm, but with Li Lingtian's terrifying strength, it was not calm. Instead, the rest of the Dongling clan was doomed. Sir Lingtian, please wait. Leave 9 Nether City. There's a teleportation formation in Dark Nether Mountain 80,000 miles away. Dongling Mutian's heart tightened as he watched Li Lingtian leave. This young man's strength was terrifying. If he were to kill the Dongling clan's disciples, the Dongling clan would be finished. He quickly told her where he came from, but he didn't know how to leave this place. Li Lingtian's body flashed and he ignored the eastern tomb Mutian. He flew away quickly and disappeared into the horizon in the blink of an eye. He wasn't worried about whether Dongling Mutian was telling the truth. If he was lying, he could find the other Dongling family disciples. After obtaining the treasure, his strength and cultivation had increased, so he was naturally in a good mood. With a flash of his body, he covered the distance of 80,000 kilometers in just 5 days. This was also because he was killing the Umbra beasts while flying. Otherwise, he would have arrived long ago. There was a tall mountain peak that was emitting a dense energy. Li Lingtian landed. There was indeed a teleportation array altar, but he had to activate it himself. He sat cross-legged and carefully inspected the array altar. After a long time, Li Lingtian's expression changed because there was no solution to the formation. Just like a teleportation array, it needed a primer to activate. In the end, he discovered that in the center of the array altar, there was a small card slot. This made him think of the primer for this array formation. The size of the card slot and the aura it emitted was actually somewhat similar to the wooden token he had obtained last time. He used his spiritual awareness to search the divine dragon ring and finally found an ancient wooden tablet. The wooden token was gray and carried a strange aura. Now that he had arrived at the 9 Netherworld city, he knew that this aura was the aura of the Netherworld. He had obtained it from Tian Wuji's storage bag the last time. He did not expect it to be exactly the same as the card slot in the center of the array altar. He carefully placed the wooden token on it, and the array altar immediately began to move. Li Lingtian was pleasantly surprised as well. He did not expect the wooden token to be useful. One was in the Azure continent, and the other was in the Azure continent. They were billions of miles apart, but now this wooden token had actually become the catalyst to activate the teleportation array. Li Lingtian found it unbelievable. In this world, there were some mysterious things that people could not fathom. The teleportation portal was activated. Li Lingtian quickly stepped onto it and disappeared from sight. This time, it was the same as when he came in. It was a powerful nether chi, but this speed was much faster. Soon, a breeze brushed past his face. Li Lingtian's eyes lit up. He had actually left Jiuyou Ming's city and returned to his own world. This world was bright and rich in spirit chi, unlike Jiuyou Ming's city which was gloomy and dark. The place where he appeared was actually a desolate area. F***ck, what the hell is this place? It's actually a mass grave. Li Lingtian looked around and noticed that the atmosphere was equally eerie. There were also countless skeletons. This place was a mass grave. As time passed, the place had turned into an eerie atmosphere. His body flashed quickly and flew into the distance. In a few seconds, he left the mass grave. Since it was a mass grave, it was definitely not far from the human city. As expected, after leaving the mass grave, he appeared in a village. After asking around, he found out that this was no longer Qinglan City, but a subsidiary city near Qinglan City. After asking around, a flying sword flew out and quickly flew toward Qinglan City. Qingling and Ji were still in Qinglan City. He had to hurry back immediately. Otherwise, if the two little beauties were in danger, it would be a great sin for him. During these 3 days, the Qinglan City was within his sight. Now, he didn't stop at all and directly flew into the city. After entering the city, there were discussions about what had happened in Qinglan City during this period of time everywhere. A saint alchemist had appeared in the alchemist grand meeting. Someone had even refined a peerless medicinal pill and became a saint alchemist. He had even become an honorary elder of the alchemist guild. However, the ones who were most discussed were the Lan clan, Yi clan, and Dongling clan. The Yi family was almost destroyed because all the warriors of the Yi family had disappeared. The dozen martial honors of the Lan family had also disappeared. All the martial honors of the Dongling family had also disappeared. Li Lingtian did not pay much attention to what he heard as he quickly flew toward his own mansion. Young Master. Young Master is back. The servant guarding the door was stunned when he saw Li Lingtian. He then exclaimed. During this period of time, Li Lingtian had disappeared. It was rumored in Qinglan City that Li Lingtian had disappeared along with the martial honor powerhouses. Young Miss and Qingling were both extremely worried, and all the servants weren't having a good time either. After all, Li Lingtian was approachable and treated them well. He had spiritual stones to use and elixirs to cultivate. Where else could they find such a master? Furthermore, he was the new king of the alchemist grand meet this time. The existence of a saint alchemist was supposed to be glorious with master, but master had disappeared. Naturally, their days were not good either. In addition, Ji and Qingling looked worried every day. They did not dare to wander around in front of the two of them, lest they were angered. Now that he saw Li Lingtian return, he thought that he was hallucinating and was still not used to it. And, where's Miss and Qingling? Li Lingtian quickly asked about Ji and Qingling. He was most worried that something had happened to the two beauties and he would not be able to forgive himself if that happened. Young Master, Young Miss and Sister Qingling are in the mansion. It's just that you haven't returned during this period of time and haven't left the mansion. The servant guarding the door quickly answered when he saw Li Lingtian's expression. He was worried that he would offend the young master. By the time he finished speaking, Li Lingtian had already disappeared and was in the backyard. Chapter 323, Chapter 323, Yi Clan and Lan Clan's Visit. Chapter 323, Yi Clan and Lan Clan's Visit. Ji and Qingling no longer had smiles on their faces. Li Lingtian had disappeared during this period of time. Rumors had it that Li Lingtian had been killed, but Qingling and Ji believed in Li Lingtian's strength. No matter what, he would not be killed. However, when she thought about how Li Lingtian had left the silver-winged flying dragon and Little White to the two of them in a hurry, something must have happened. After that, it was rumored that the Supreme Realm experts of the Lan family, the Yi family, and the Dongling family had disappeared. The entire Yi family had disappeared as well. Countless people saw these people being attacked by the Umbra beasts and then disappearing together. They had never seen anything like this before. They were terrified and worried about what would happen to them if Li Lingtian was harmed. It had been a month since they had last met, but there was still no news from Li Lingtian. They did not dare to leave the mansion either. With Li Lingtian's array formation, they could stay safe from being ambushed. If they left, any martial emperor could easily kill them with their meager strength. On this day, the two of them had finished their cultivation and were resting in the courtyard. They missed Li Lingtian even more when they thought of his presence. At this moment, a breeze flashed past. The two of them turned around vigilantly. When they saw the person in front of them, the two women were stunned. Tears could no longer be held back. She had been holding back her tears for a while, but now, she could no longer hold them back. Big brother. Young master. The two little beauties leaped into Li Lingtian's arms in a flash. Qingling stopped in her tracks when she saw Ji Yi's action. After all, she was only a maid while the young lady was the young master's younger sister. Even if they were not biological, their relationship was not something she could compare to. However, Li Lingtian reached out and pulled her into his arms. The three of them fell silent as they sensed each other's presence. This time, Li Lingtian was almost killed as well. He was extremely excited to see the two people he cared about once again. After a long time, Li Lingtian gently released the two of them. He saw that their faces were stained with tears and he reached out to wipe them away. It's okay. I'm back now, aren't I? Li Lingtian smiled and gave the two ladies a comforting smile. He then led the two ladies to the courtyard and comforted them softly. Big brother, during this period of time, they've been saying that you've been killed. Where have you been? Ji was worried sick. If you didn't come back soon, Ji would have gone out to look for you. If he couldn't find you and met a bad person, Ji would have killed himself. Ji leaned against Li Lingtian as she spoke softly. After leaving the immortal spirit realm, it was Li Lingtian who took care of her and taught her many things. She did not feel anything because Li Lingtian had taken care of everything. However, after Li Lingtian left, he realized that he could not move an inch. Without Li Lingtian, there was nothing he could do. She also lacked someone to rely on in her heart. She had thought about it many times. If her big brother did not come back, she would just follow him. There was no point in living. Now that Li Lingtian was back, she cherished his presence even more. I did disappear from the Yi family last time. A Netherworld warrior opened the 9 Netherworld city and brought us to the 9 Netherworld city. We experienced many things there. When Li Lingtian saw Qingling looking at him curiously, he slowly told her everything that happened in Jiuyou Ming city. However, he did not reveal some of the dangerous places as he did not want the two little beauties to worry about him. So young master went to 9 Nether city. Is there really a ghost? Qingling asked curiously. Although the two little beauties did not hear Li Lingtian mention anything dangerous, they were both smart girls and naturally knew that Li Lingtian did not want them to worry. The two of them once again revealed their childlike nature towards the 9 Nether city. They wanted to know if there were ghosts inside. Yes, but these ghosts are all very powerful. They're not as easy to deal with as the ghosts in the legends. Actually, ghosts are also strong, but they have been demonized by people outside. Li Lingtian replied with a smile. In his past life, he was afraid of ghosts and was afraid of watching ghost stories and movies. However, in this life, with his powerful cultivation, there was nothing to be afraid of when it came to ghosts. Humans were the most terrifying. Nothing was more terrifying than humans. This trip to Jiuyou Ming City was a place where powerful mighty figures lived. Naturally, it was impossible to see some low-level ghosts. He didn't see those mighty figures, but he obtained their treasures. Even now, he still did not understand where those mighty figures had gone. The three of them chatted for a long time until the afternoon when Qing Ling instructed the servants to prepare a lot of delicious food to welcome Li Lingtian. After disappearing for a month, he had returned and his cultivation had improved greatly. Naturally, it was worth celebrating. All the servants knew that young master had returned and were extremely happy. After the celebration, Qing Ling prepared the bath water and washed Li Lingtian. Naturally, the two of them had sex for a while. In the end, both of them were so tired that they fell asleep. Li Lingtian had not rested in 9 Nether City either. Now that he was back, he was in a relaxed mood. After resting for 2 whole days, Li Lingtian's mental state was restored to its peak condition. Then, he inquired about what had happened in Qinglan City during this period of time. What he did not expect was that the Dongling family had been occupied by someone else. The Yi family was also occupied by others, and only the Lan family was struggling to support them. Out of the 3 largest families, one family had disappeared completely, one family's Supreme Realm experts had disappeared completely, and the last family's Supreme Realm experts had disappeared by half. With such an unforeseen event, the forces in Qinglan City would naturally reshuffle. Li Lingtian did not care about Qinglan City because it had nothing to do with him and he did not need to care. Moreover, he had also decided to wait for his cultivation to stabilize and cultivate for a period of time. After settling the matters in Qinglan City, he would settle his own matters. In the Azure continent, he had already gotten involved with the biggest powers. He had already been to Qinglan City, and the 3 biggest families were almost useless. He couldn't stay in Moonrise City, and it was the same for this place. However, he had to settle his own matters. The Ping family deserved to die. He could not let them go. He had to go to Dishi family, the Queen's Palace, the House of Storms, and the Wind Moon Palace. Qingling, Ge, I need to cultivate for a period of time. You guys should cultivate as well. After Li Lingtian made some arrangements, he began cultivating in peace. He had already refined his grade 6 medicinal pill. He did not have to worry about not having any medicinal pills to use either. A rank 4 martial emperor could use a rank 5 Azure Yang pill and a soul restoring pill to quickly increase his cultivation. Moreover, he had reached the 3rd layer of the true dragon body protection, obtained the heavenly sword physique, the heavenly fault sword, and the 10,000 sharp swords. These were the key to his strength soaring. What he needed to do now was to refine and cultivate these skills and treasures. When he was strong enough, he would be able to go to the Dishi family and save Tang Qingyue. Yes, don't worry, big brother. With your pills and with spiritual pearl, I'll be able to cultivate very quickly. Perhaps I'll be able to reach the Martial King realm in a while. Ge said with a smile. She was an elf princess and had a keen sense of heaven and earth spiritual qi. Coupled with the wood's spiritual pearl that Li Lingtian had given her, her cultivation was soaring. Young master, what if someone asks you to refine pills? Qing Ling thought of a problem. No one knew that young master had returned, but as time passed, he would be discovered if he started concocting pills. Young master was a saint alchemist, the first saint alchemist in the Azure continent, the first alchemist to refine a peerless pill, the first alchemist to refine a mutated level 6 pill, and the youngest saint alchemist in the divine martial continent. At that time, there would definitely be many people looking for young master to refine pills. That's fine. Martial honors who want to refine pills must do one thing for me. Other martial artists who want my pills must join my divine pill pavilion. And, although I haven't built the divine pill pavilion here yet, this will happen sooner or later. Or, if there are any mystical pill recipes, ingredients, or medicinal herbs, I will reject everything else. Without any hesitation, Li Lingtian answered directly. He did not need spiritual stones now. All he needed was strength. Without strength, he could not accomplish his task. What was the point of refining pills? However, it was also possible for a martial honor to join. After all, the three forces he had provoked were the strongest superpowers in the Azure continent. It was inevitable that he would be weak alone. After arranging for the two beauties, Li Lingtian started cultivating in his room. During the day, he cultivated all kinds of skills, and at night, he cultivated the heaven and earth reincarnation technique and the true dragon body barrier. When he had free time, he would study the pill formula and the divine array diagram. The divine array diagram was of great help to him. Right now, what he needed to control the most were the god extermination extreme, the god's fury descending from the heavens, the great cloud palm, the myriad returning swords, the sword howl of the heavens and earth, and the ice, fire, 9 heavens. Against the three superpowers, some trash skills were useless. It had to be a heaven-tier divine power skill. These skills had already reached the great success realm. If they were cultivated to the extreme, their power would really be shocking. Qingling was right. Half a month later, at the Dongling family, the experts of the Yi clan and the Lan clan had returned from Jiuyou Ming city. Although only half of the martial artists returned, those who returned were all super powerhouses or heaven's favored ones. However, the Dongling clan and Yi clan were already powerless to reverse the situation. Everyone knew that Li Lingtian had returned as well. It was unknown who had leaked the news, but everyone knew that the holy alchemist, Sir Ling Tian, was also in Qinglan city. Countless powerhouses wanted to seek Li Lingtian's help to refine pills, but Qingling had stated the conditions. Many warriors joined the divine pill pavilion and some supreme realm warriors agreed to help Li Lingtian with something. However, Li Lingtian could only refine a cauldron of pills every 7 days. The rest of the time, he had to cultivate. On this day, the powerhouses from the Yi clan and the Lan clan came knocking on his door. Li Lingtian had no choice but to come out of seclusion. After all, these two clans bore no ill intentions. There must be something he needed from Li Lingtian since he was here at this time. With a smile on his face, Li Lingtian walked into the living room and saw 4 powerful martial honors waiting for him. Chapter 324, Chapter 324, Explosive Yuan Pill. Chapter 324, Explosive Yuan Pill. Sir Ling Tian, we meet again. A few martial honor powerhouses stood up to greet Li Lingtian when they saw him coming out. Yi Lantian was also the middle-aged man in green whom Grandmaster Yuan brought back last time. He was now the head of the Yi family. They witnessed Li Lingtian's strength during the battle at the Yi clan square. They were shocked that a martial emperor had such strength. However, in the few days that he had returned, he had heard the terrifying rumors of countless experts. He was even more shocked. In less than a month, he had broken through to the 3rd stage and killed Ming in one move. She had also learned about Li Lingtian's strength from Yi Feng. Now, she had come to Li Lingtian's mansion with the Lan family in hopes of getting Li Lingtian's help. The Yi family had been taken over by someone and they had to take it back. However, the Tang family, one of the 10 great families, was the one who took over the Yi family. They were extremely powerful and the few revered martial artists of the Yi family did not have the ability to take back the Yi family. The only thing they could do was to beg Li Lingtian. Ha! Please take a seat. It's better to be casual in my house. Li Lingtian smiled faintly and waved at the 4 revered martial artists before he sat down. A martial emperor who was able to act so casually in front of a few martial honors was not just boasting. They were even more convinced of Li Lingtian's abilities. Those who came to Li Lingtian's residence were not the strongest revered martial artists but those who had seen Li Lingtian before. This way, it would be easier for them to communicate with each other. They knew that even if the clan's fourth Heaven Supreme Realm expert were to arrive, Li Lingtian would not be convinced. After all, Li Lingtian had killed Ming in one blow. Such a powerful force was not something the two clans could afford to provoke. I've heard of Sir Lingtian's strength as well. It's truly beyond our imagination. I won't beat around the bush. I'll have to ask for your help this time. I'm sure Sir Lingtian knows about the Yi family's current situation. As long as Sir Lingtian helps the Yi family take back the Yi family is willing to use the Yi family's heirloom heaven-ranked divine ability as a token of gratitude. After Yi Lantian sat down, a servant of the Li family served him some fragrant tea. He took a sip and told him his purpose of coming. He knew that a powerhouse like Li Lingtian would not ask for spiritual stones or other treasures. More importantly, Li Lingtian was a divine alchemist, the only one in the Azure continent. There was no shortage of things. The only thing the Yi family could offer was a heaven-ranked divine ability skill. Perhaps it could move Li Lingtian. If even a heaven-ranked skill could not move Li Lingtian, then there was no other way. After saying that, he took out a brocade box. There was a jade slip lying inside. The jade slip emitted an ancient aura, but there was a trace of a terrifying concept of destruction inside. Tyrannical Saber Art. Li Lingtian scanned the area with his divine perception. Although he could not enter the area, he knew the name of the skill. He was stunned. It was actually the Tyrannical Saber Art. Although he didn't know how powerful the tyrannical art was, hearing the other party say that this was a heaven-tier divine power skill, it was still a heaven-tier skill. His Empyrean Terminus Tyrant Emperor Saber just happened to lack skills. If he had a blade-type skill, he could definitely increase the power of the Empyrean Terminus Tyrant Emperor Saber countless times. He had only used a trace of the divine chi of the heavens extreme Tyrant Emperor Saber, and he could already kill a martial honor. If he added the power of the heavens extreme Tyrant Emperor Saber to his skill, the power would be unimaginable. That's right. No one in the Yi family can cultivate this skill because the disciples who cultivate the Yi family mainly have wood-type martial souls. Even if they have metal-type martial souls, no one can cultivate Saber intent. Among the 31 martial honors of the Yi family, there are 3 martial honors with metal-type martial souls. None of them can cultivate this heaven-grade divine power. They can only look at the treasure and not use it. Yi Lantian nodded and looked at Li Lingtian. Li Lingtian's expression was calm and he could not read Li Lingtian's mind. I'll accept this skill, but I didn't help you for nothing. Firstly, I helped you mainly because of him. Secondly, I have some matters to settle after a period of time. Your Yi clan must have 3 martial honors to help me with them unconditionally. Li Lingtian pondered for a moment before he kept the jade slip and stated his conditions. As he spoke, he pointed at Yi Feng. Yi Lantian was stunned as well. He did not expect Li Lingtian to be so straightforward. However, he knew that even if Li Lingtian did not help the Yi family, he would not be able to get back the tyrannical saber technique. He began to calculate in his heart to see if his Yi family could withstand such conditions. After a moment, he made up his mind and nodded in agreement. All right, I can agree to this matter as long as the Yi family can take back their family. Yi Lantian said. As long as they could reclaim the Yi clan's territory, Li Lingtian would make his move and the other clans would know about the relationship between the Yi clan and Li Lingtian. This relationship had brought the Yi clan many benefits, so they could make a deal. Remember what you said today. I don't want to repeat the topic. Li Lingtian said coldly. As long as he had decided on something, he would not allow anyone to go back on their word. If someone went back on their word, there was no need to be polite. Although Yilantian was displeased by Li Lingtian's overbearing attitude, he understood that the strong had their own personalities. Since his Yi family needed his help, he could only nod in agreement. Since Brother Ye's matter has been resolved, I'll be frank. Sir Ling Tian, please help me resolve this crisis. The Lan clan has an explosive Yuan pill that can raise a martial monarch's cultivation level without any side effects. I can tell that Sir Ling Tian is a martial monarch and a saint alchemist, so I know how powerful this pill is. However, this pill formula doesn't exist in the divine martial continent. Only the Yi clan has a bottle of explosive Yuan pills, and there's only one left. Lan Xiaoyao took out a jade bottle with a hint of reluctance on his face. However, when he thought of the Lan family's situation, he could only take out this medicinal pill. A martial emperor's medicinal pill was nothing to a martial honor. Yuan burst pill. Do you know the Lan family of Green Island? Li Lingtian suddenly thought of something. He had heard about the explosive Yuan pill when he was in the Tang family and it seemed to belong to the Lan family. Could it be that the two Lan families were the same? Moreover, there was a blue screen in his jade carving pagoda, which had the same name as Tang Ziming's mother. At that time, he felt a little awkward. The Lan family of Green Island? I know. The Lan family of Green Island and our Lan family are both branches of the Lan family. 30 years ago, our two families met. At that time, there was a little girl named Lan Ping. She had the same name as my daughter. If we count their seniority, they were still of the same generation. It's just that the age difference between the two was more than double. When Lan Xiaoyao heard Li Lingtian not answering his question but mentioning the Lan family in Green Island, he was immediately reminded of what happened 30 years ago. He did not know why Li Lingtian was asking about this, but he did not hide anything. This is also fate. Alright, this young master will help you once. The conditions are the same. Li Lingtian did not say it out loud. He only felt that the world was small. Although the two Lan families were not together, they were both branches and could be considered as one family. The Lan family of Green Island was Tang Ziming's relative, so they were considered his relatives as well. The Lan family treated him well, so now that he had encountered this problem, he decided to help them out. Moreover, it was not a big deal to have more debts. After all, it was all in Qinglan City. Thank you, Sir Ling Tian. Lan Xiaoyao did not probe further as he understood that Li Lingtian would have to ask if he did not want to. The other party wouldn't say it either. It might even backfire. However, he had a feeling that Li Lingtian must be related to the Lan family of Green Island. Moreover, it must be a very good relationship. Otherwise, it would not be fate. If he was enemies with the Lan family of Green Island, he would not have helped his Lan family. After Li Lingtian kept the pills, the few of them began to chat idly. Soon after, the two families began to explain the problem at hand in detail. The Yi family's opponent was the Tang family, and the Lan family's opponent was the Qin family. Both of them were among the top 10 families. However, Li Lingtian did not take it to heart. He did not want to provoke him. If he did, his myriad returning swords and a few powerful divine abilities would destroy both clans. As long as a supreme realm expert was not above the fifth firmament, he would not be afraid. Moreover, now that he had this explosive Yuan pill, he could advance by one realm. When the time came, after refining the 5 elements spirit fruit into the 5 elements blood coagulation pill, he could also advance by one realm. With the limitless Tao fruit and the 5 elements spirit fruit, 2 heaven-defying fruits, and 2 medicinal pills, his strength could increase rapidly. This was why he dared to go to Dishi family for a short time. Otherwise, he wouldn't have dared to go to Dishi family. This matter, I will settle it for you. 3 days later, your Yi clan's people will go to the Lan clan to hold the fort. When the Lan clan's matter is settled, you can return to the Yi clan and settle both matters together. However, when you go back today, spread the word that it's best if I don't do anything. Otherwise, if there's any bloodshed, one won't be able to control it. After Li Lingtian finished speaking, he waved his hand to signal for the revered martial artists to leave. The 4 revered martial artists also left with cupped fists. Although they felt that Li Lingtian was a little arrogant, they understood that it was his capital. Only those with strength would behave like this. Yi Lantian and Lan Xiaoyao were frustrated when they heard Li Lingtian's arrangement. Why did they not think of this? He immediately reacted. Even if he had thought of it, he wouldn't dare to do it. After all, he had to face the risk of being destroyed. Li Lingtian watched the 4 of them leave with a faint smile on his face. Good things always came knocking on his door. With the Tyrant Saber art, his trump card would be even more powerful. Besides, the pill could increase his cultivation by 1 level, which was beyond his imagination. With this pill, he could reach level 5, or even level 6, before he went to Dishi family. Chapter 325, Chapter 325, Sword Force, 1. Chapter 325, Sword Force, 1. The Qinglan city was no longer as calm as before. It had truly turned the world upside down. The Dongling clan and the Yi clan were finished, and the Lan clan was in a bad situation. Without the Yi clan and the Dongling clan, the top 10 clans would only be able to make it into the top 10 clans if they lacked 2 more clans. The clans below would also constantly compete to become one of the top 10 clans. Moreover, the Yi clan and Dongling clan did not stop there. The entire Qinglan city was in a state of chaos. On this day, the remaining 9 Supreme Realm martial artists of the Yi family came to the Qin family. The Lan family's 18 Supreme Realm experts also arrived in the sky above the Qin family at the same time. In an instant, the arrival of nearly 30 Supreme Realm experts made the Qin family feel uneasy. Originally, the Qin family's strength was a level lower than the Lan family's. However, the Lan family had lost more than a dozen revered martial artists some time ago. That was why they had the intention to attack the Lan family. After the few revered martial artists of the Lan family returned, the power of the 2 families was once again equal. The Qin family also felt that it was difficult to get off the tiger. Now, with the addition of the Yi family's Supreme Realm expert, the Qin family's power gradually fell into a disadvantage. Lan Xiaoyao, Yi Lantian, what do you mean by this? Do you want Qinglan City to start a war? Qin Tianwu brought the Qin family's super experts and flew out. For a moment, both sides were facing each other. There were more than 20 Supreme Realm experts. If a war broke out, even if the Qin family had a few fewer Supreme Realm experts and their strength was weaker than the 2 families combined, a Supreme Realm battle was not 2 against 1 or 3 against 1. They could not kill a Supreme Realm expert at all. This was also the reason why the Qin clan was not afraid of the Yi clan and the Lan clan joining forces. Moreover, they did not expect that the archenemies of the Yi clan and the Lan clan would join forces. Ha, Qin Tianwu, wasn't your Qin family having a good time when one wasn't around? How are things now? Lan Xiaoyao was relieved to see the strength of both parties. Even if Li Lingtian did not come, the Lan and Yi clans would be fine. However, if the Yi clan's powerhouses left, the Lan clan would be attacked by the Qin clan. Now, they could only wait for Li Lingtian's arrival. 2 days ago, the Lan family had issued an order for the Qin family to apologize and compensate them, but the Qin family did not make any moves. It seemed that they did not trust Li Lingtian's influence. They did not believe that a holy alchemist like Li Lingtian would help the Lan family. So what? The Yi family and the Lan family have joined forces. Do you think my Qin family will be afraid? Qin Tianhe snorted coldly. A 3rd-level martial honored realm expert was considered a top figure in the Qin family. How could he tolerate Lan Xiaoyao's sarcasm? If he apologized to the Lan family, wouldn't it be a slap to the Qin family's face? How would the Qin family survive in Qinglan City then? I don't need you to be afraid. A faint voice was heard as Li Lingtian's figure appeared out of thin air with a faint smile on his face. He glanced at the Qin family's martial artists intentionally or unintentionally. His face was calm and he did not take the Qin family seriously at all. If he was still a martial arts grandmaster, he could still be wary of the Qin family and not want to provoke the major forces of Qinglan City. However, now that he was a rank 4 martial emperor, he naturally did not have to fear these forces. The main reason was that he had obtained the heavenly sword body and tens of thousands of sharp swords. Coupled with the breakthrough of the true dragon body protection, his strength had increased greatly. This was his true capital. Moreover, he was the honorary elder of the Alchemist Guild, so he couldn't bring shame to the Alchemist Guild. There was nothing left in Qinglan City. Even if the sky was pierced, it would only be a hole. Moreover, he had already provoked enough people in the Azure continent. An additional Qinglan City was not considered much. Saint Pill Refiner Ling Tian. The Qin clan's warriors were shocked to see Li Lingtian. Even the countless warriors watching the battle from afar did not expect Li Lingtian to appear. Few people knew Li Lingtian's true strength. However, they knew that Li Lingtian had only broken through to the martial emperor realm during the alchemist convention. He had also become a quasi-sage alchemist and an honorary elder of the Alchemist Guild. Now that he appeared, things became troublesome. Sir Ling Tian. The Yi clan and Lan clan's warriors heaved a sigh of relief when they saw Li Lingtian's arrival. With Li Lingtian's arrival, their chances of winning were much higher. Li Lingtian merely nodded as he looked at Qin Tianwu. The Lan family had already given the word, but the Qin family had not relented. It seemed like the tiger was a sick cat when it did not show its might. One don't want to interfere in the affairs of your Qinglan City, but Qinglan City is one of the top 10 families and war is not allowed. However, the Qin family attacked when the Lan family was not around. It has already violated the rules. I've already given you a chance. If you don't believe me, don't blame me. Li Lingtian said calmly with a relaxed expression. The fact that a martial emperor was so casual in front of a martial honor had caused countless warriors to feel a little worried. After he finished speaking, countless martial artists were in an uproar. They actually said such words to the Qin family. If it was a powerhouse above the 5th level of the martial honored realm, he would have dared to say such a thing. However, Li Lingtian was merely a young martial emperor. How arrogant! Li Lingtian, you're the honorary elder of the Alchemist Guild. Don't be so shameless. Don't tell me that with the support of the Alchemist Guild, you can recklessly interfere in the affairs of other forces. Qin Tianhe shouted angrily as he exuded a powerful aura. The Qin family did not dare to provoke the Alchemist Guild, but if the Qin family was in the right, the Alchemist Guild would not do anything to the Qin family even if they killed Li Lingtian. Initially, they could have let Li Lingtian off for the sake of the Alchemist Guild. However, they did not expect Li Lingtian to be so arrogant here. You don't want face? Alright then. Just based on this sentence, you deserve to die. Li Lingtian said coldly as he circulated his quintessential essence. With a wave of his hand, the Tianyu sword appeared in his hand. The sky-shocking sword's pressure was even more powerful. When a rank 4 martial emperor used the sky-shocking sword, he had exerted a little of the power of the sky-shocking sword's supreme saint weapon. With just a trace of the power of a saint weapon, it could kill a martial emperor. Coupled with skills, a martial honor could only be killed. Saint artifact. All the experts cried out in shock. Li Lingtian ignored the astonished warriors as he unleashed his shocking sword will. The space was filled with a terrifying and sharp sword will. With a casual wave of his hand, the Tianyu sword was swung across the air. Sword howl, heaven and earth. In the air, a thin sword silk appeared, like an electric arc. The seemingly light sword did not have much power, but in Qin Tianhe's eyes, this sword was a sword of destruction. In front of this sword, he did not even have a move to block. Sure. Sword force. Qin Tianhe was shocked to the extreme, and the expression on his face kept changing. He finally understood why this strike was so easy. Even the power of a saint artifact was concealed by this strike. It turned out that this sword carried momentum. Sword momentum was the most magical momentum in the world. Floating cloud quiet light shield. Purple gold mysterious sun slash. While Qin Tianhe was shocked in his heart, he displayed his most powerful attack and defense. All the martial artists could not understand why a martial emperor's light sword could make a third-level martial honored realm expert's expression change drastically. He even displayed such a terrifying defense and attack. But hearing Qin Tianhe's words, they were all stunned. He didn't expect this young man to be able to control the momentum, and it was even the sharpest sword momentum. Crash. Ah! The sword aura carried a mysterious aura, a destructive aura that charged forward. The sword momentum directly split Qin Tianhe's attack in half, and it slid down without the slightest pause. With a loud crash, the floating cloud quiet light shield did not stop him at all. The middle-grade Emperor artifact floating cloud quiet light shield was directly cut in half. A miserable cry sounded. Qin Tianhe, a third-level Supreme Realm expert, was split into two with one strike. Instant kill. It was a true instant kill. A sword aura that did not have the slightest bit of power directly killed a third-level Supreme Realm expert in an instant. Whoosh. All the martial artists were stunned. Was this still a martial monarch powerhouse? Even a martial emperor powerhouse did not seem to be so domineering. He could easily kill a third-level martial honored realm expert with a single sword strike. Was the sword aura really that terrifying? It could even conceal the pressure of a saint weapon. The emperor weapon of a martial honor could not even be considered rotten wood. Yi Lantian and Lan Xiaoyao's hearts trembled. Was this young alchemy saint as useless as alchemy saint? Who else could be more terrifying than this? No wonder he spoke so indifferently. It turned out that even Wu Zun was instantly killed in front of him. This was the case for a third-level Supreme Realm expert. What strength did he have to fight with this young man? He did not even have the chance to be abused and was instantly killed. While all the martial artists were stunned, the sword intent in the air disappeared. With a twist of his hand, the Tianyu sword disappeared. His face was calm as if he had not done anything just now. Who else doesn't want to live? I don't mind helping them. Li Lingtian's calm voice jolted all the warriors awake. They stared at Li Lingtian in shock as if they had seen a ghost. Why was this young alchemy saint so powerful? Even if he was cultivating in his mother's womb, it was impossible for him to be so powerful. This had already exceeded the scope of power. An expert who could control Shi was definitely a monster. It could not be described as a genius. Do you still want me to live? In the distance, a warrior king's disciple looked at Li Lingtian and was on the verge of kneeling. His face was ashen. What does it have to do with you? Some martial artists looked at this martial king in confusion. Other people were fighting, but this disciple came to cry. One became a martial king at the age of 20. One thought I was a super genius. But he, an 18-year-old alchemy saint, managed to refine a peerless pill. It's a miracle of the divine martial continent. The first alchemy saint of the Azure continent. He's at the martial emperor realm. He can control the sword aura and kill a martial honored realm expert in one move. He's the brilliance of the moon, but I'm not even the light of a firefly. What's the use of me living? Oh heavens, oh earth. The martial king's disciple continued to scold him. His expression was as if his parents had died. Get lost. Others are monsters, but you're just a human. If this is the case, no one in the entire divine martial continent will be able to survive. Some of the experts began to console themselves when they heard the martial king's words. Not to mention a martial king, even a supreme realm expert would be instantly killed. Who would dare to compete with him? Wasn't he just asking for trouble? At that moment, countless powerhouses stared at Li Lingtian in a daze. The experts of the Qin family were also stunned. They did not expect this young man to be so terrifying. His speed was incomparably fast, and there was almost no one who helped him. Then, he thought about how lucky he was that he didn't lend a helping hand. Even if he did, it would only increase the number of casualties. The atmosphere was extremely strange, and the space was silent. Chapter 326, Chapter 326, Tyrant Saber Art, 1. Chapter 326, Tyrant Saber Art, 1. Li Lingtian scanned his surroundings before he floated in the air and closed his eyes to rest. This action made countless experts speechless. After killing a level 3 Supreme Realm expert, he actually came to close his eyes and rest. Wasn't this ignoring the Qin family's super experts? If the other Supreme Realm experts and martial emperors killed a Supreme Realm expert, they would definitely be excited or uneasy because the Qin family had 22 super experts. After killing the super experts of the Qin family, they would definitely be worried about the group attack of the Qin family. In that case, no matter how powerful the experts were, they would also fall. Li Lingtian, are you really going to interfere in the affairs between the Qin and Lan families? Qin Tianwu's expression changed when he saw his Qin family's super expert being killed in an instant. In the end, he said angrily. The aura from his entire body burst forth as if it was about to tear Li Lingtian apart. Ignorant. I'll give you 3 breaths of time. Whether you apologize or perish is up to your Qin family. Li Lingtian glanced at Qin Tianwu in disdain and uttered 2 words. The sword intent on his body erupted once again, and he stood proudly between heaven and earth like a sharp sword. He stretched out his hand and a ball of light appeared in his hand. The ball of light was filled with countless small swords that were the size of ants. Everyone felt the destructive sword intent, and their faces revealed shocked expressions. 3, 2, 1. Li Lingtian counted each word one by one. The aura around his body rose sharply and his eyes sharpened. It seemed like he was going to go on a killing spree this time. The remaining 21 Supreme Realm experts of the Qin family also quickly used their weapons. Being forced by a young martial emperor, he naturally wouldn't agree. Countless warriors in Qinglan City were watching. If he agreed under such circumstances, it would be too embarrassing. The 21 revered martial artists exchanged a glance before they dashed toward Li Lingtian in a flash. However, halfway through, he was stopped by the martial honor experts of the Yi and Lan families. Li Lingtian did not even look at the Qin clan's powerhouse as he unleashed the heavenly fault sword. With a single hand, a ball of light shot out. Suddenly, a devastating sword aura soared into the sky. Li Lingtian was surrounded by a world of swords. Tens of thousands of sharp swords floated in the air, spinning continuously. Each sword was an existence above profound level weapon, and there were imperial weapons inside. Within 100 meters of Li Lingtian, it was a world of swords. Sword chi was like a thread that was constantly being emitted and the space was filled with astonishing sword chi. Li Lingtian looked at the Qin family's warriors with a cold glint in his eyes. There was no change in his emotions. All the warriors were stunned when they saw the sharp swords by Li Lingtian's side. Was he still human? How could he control so many sharp swords at once? The impact of the 10,000 swords caused the hearts of the human martial artists to tremble. The Qin family's super experts also saw this change and were all terrified. After this move was used, the Qin family would definitely be gone. Alright, the Qin clan agrees to Sir Ling Tian's request. At this moment, Qin Tianwu spoke loudly. Li Lingtian was a loner while the Qin family had a family and a business. With this strike, the Qin family would be finished and they would have no place to stand. Yes. Li Lingtian's heart raced as he used his divine consciousness to retract the heavenly fault sword and the countless sharp swords. The sword will between heaven and earth gradually disappeared. All the Supreme Realm experts stopped, but their hearts were still trembling. Li Lingtian's first strike had killed a third-level martial honored realm expert in an instant. Although he did not continue his attack, based on his experience, the power of this strike was definitely not something that could be compared to the first strike. Now, they all understood that this young alchemy saint master did not rely on the alchemist guild, but his own terrifying strength. 10 billion. Li Lingtian retracted his heavenly fault sword. With a cold expression, he glared at the Qin clan's powerhouse and uttered 3 words. SHLV. The expressions of all the martial artists became extremely strange. What a money grubber, actually asking for IO billion at this time. This was 10 billion, not 100. Alright. Qin Tianwu's expression changed as well. He endured the pain and said. This was 10 billion. Even the Qin family would have to pay a huge price. He did not expect that the Qin family would not be able to take advantage of him. Instead, they would lose a third-level Supreme Realm expert. Now, they would lose another IO billion. Moreover, this way, the Qin clan would lose face in Qinglan City. However, when he thought of Li Lingtian's move just now, his heart was still trembling. If he were to unleash it, the Qin family would definitely be gone. You can talk about your matters now. It has nothing to do with me. Li Lingtian continued to speak coldly before he closed his eyes once again. Instantly, countless warriors staggered. This was none of his business. It was clearly because of him that the Qin family was restrained. Now, he actually said that it had nothing to do with him. Following that, the Qin and Lan families discussed the matters between the two families while Li Lingtian closed his eyes. Soon, the two families came to an agreement. Li Lingtian left the Qin family with 10 billion lower spiritual stones and returned to his mansion. Next was the Yi family's matter. The Yi family's opponent was the Tang family. Just as Li Lingtian had expected, if he were to make a move against the Qin family, the Tang family would not dare to provoke him and the Yi family would easily give up their territory. Although Li Lingtian had only used one move, the entire Qinglan city was shaken. He had killed a third-level Supreme Realm expert in one move. Moreover, it was a martial emperor who had killed a Supreme Realm expert in one move. However, the focus of all this was Li Lingtian, who was cultivating in his mansion. During the day, he would cultivate with the 2 little beauties. At night, he would cultivate the heaven and earth reincarnation technique and the true dragon body barrier. It was not about refining a cauldron of pills and comprehending pill techniques. In the ancient alchemy technique, there were 10 pill formulas recorded. Now, the first type was the limitless pill. A grade 6 limitless pill also used the limitless Tao fruit as the main medicinal catalyst. The refined limitless pill could quickly increase a martial artist's cultivation. He was now a level 4 martial emperor and needed to observe the level 5 or 6 pills to cultivate. There was also a pill that was also a 6th grade existence. It was called the 5 elements blood coagulation pill. This was a pill refined with the 5 elements spirit fruit as the main ingredient. However, on this day, he went into seclusion to cultivate and did not see anyone. In the practice room, a simple restriction was cast. Then, he closed his eyes and began to cultivate, circulating the heaven and earth reincarnation technique. After a full day, Li Lingtian activated his divine consciousness and took out a jade bottle. There was only one pill in the jade bottle. It was a dark blue pill that emitted violent spiritual energy. Explosive Yuan pill. He could increase his cultivation base by 1 level without any conditions and with 5 side effects. However, his current cultivation base was still too low, and he felt powerless to go to Dishi family. He could only improve his cultivation base. Without any hesitation, he threw the pill into his mouth. The pill entered his body, but it did not disperse quickly. Instead, he needed to continuously use his true essence to refine it, otherwise it would not be able to display its medicinal effects. Just like that, Li Lingtian continued to refine the explosive Yuan pill. 5 days had passed. Li Lingtian opened his eyes with a faint smile on his face. After 5 days of refining the explosive Yuan pill, his cultivation base had also improved and he was now a Tier 5 Martial Emperor. Now that he had reached the 5th level of the Martial Emperor realm, he finally understood why the experts of the Green Continent were only considered experts after the 5th level of the Martial Emperor realm. It turned out that the difference between Tier 4 and Tier 5 was simply indescribable. A rank 5 Martial Emperor is still not enough. Li Lingtian said calmly. A Tier 5 Martial Emperor was powerful enough, but it was still impossible for him to defeat the Tianshi clan. Subsequently, Li Lingtian refined a Grade 6 Infinity Pill and used it to elevate his cultivation. When he was free, he would comprehend the Tyrant Saber art. This Tyrant Saber art was also the first Saber skill he had obtained. Moreover, this skill was a heaven-grade divine power skill. The tyrannical saber art was divided into 3 levels. Desolate 10 consecutive strikes. With his cultivation, he could only comprehend the first level. The first level was in this life, Saber Intent, Desolate 10 consecutive slashes. With a shocking Saber Intent, he slashed out. 10 destructive Saber Intents and Saber Lights appeared between heaven and earth. Even a Supreme Realm expert would be instantly killed. Li Lingtian had spent 10 days just to comprehend the tyrannical saber art, and this was the power of the Eye of the Divine Soul. Without the Eye of the Divine Soul, he would not have been able to comprehend the tyrannical saber art in 10 days. He used the heavenly extreme Tyrant Emperor Saber and controlled it with the treasure control secrets. He closed his eyes slightly and a trace of Saber Intent flashed. The heavenly extreme Tyrant Emperor Saber trembled and slashed down lightly. Suddenly, a sharp blade light flashed in the air, and a tiny crack appeared on the blue stone on the ground. Li Lingtian's body trembled. He had forcefully suppressed it. With his cultivation, he could not even control the extreme Heaven Tyrant Emperor Saber, so he naturally could not control the desolate 10 consecutive strikes. Only when he was forced to do so would he be able to forcefully use the Heaven Extreme Tyrant Emperor Saber. Otherwise, he would not have used this attack so easily even if he was beaten to death. After putting away the Heaven's Extreme Tyrant Emperor Saber, Li Lingtian continued to study the treasure control technique and alchemy techniques. The limitless pill had already been refined. Now, he needed time to cultivate continuously. After his cultivation increased, he would leave Qinglan City. 3 months had passed. For 3 months, Li Lingtian did not leave the mansion at all. He had been cultivating in seclusion in the mansion. Unsurprisingly, he had successfully reached the 6th level of the Martial Emperor realm in the past 3 months. Moreover, he was a peak rank 6 Martial Emperor because he had refined the Limitless Pill and the 5 Elements Coagulation Pill. The quality of the 2 pills was also high. Every time he consumed one, he would need a few days to refine it. However, his cultivation also increased rapidly. In these 3 months, he had not rested much. He had been refining treasures, comprehending skills, and controlling a few top-notch weapons. On top of that, Qinglan City had also stabilized. On this day, Li Lingtian left Qinglan City and handed over the mansion to his servants to manage. He left Qinglan City with Ji Yi and Qingling, and flew directly toward Moonrise City. Because his cultivation had already broken through, the matter of the Ping family had to be resolved. After getting rid of the Ping family, he had to think about how to deal with the Dishi family. The Dishi family had no grudge against him, so he just had to save Tang Qingyue. From the moment he left Qinglan City, the Azure Continent was destined to never be peaceful again. Chapter 327, Chapter 327, Huangfu Yuyan, 1. Chapter 327, Huangfu Yuyan, 1. Li Lingtian's expression was calm as the spaceship sped up. Qing Ling and Ji Yi were talking about something. From their happy looks, they were probably curious about the outside world. After all, Li Lingtian did not stay in Qinglan City for long. Moreover, they had been cultivating diligently in Qinglan City. Now that they were out, they were naturally overjoyed. "Young master, where are we going now?" Qing Ling asked curiously as she turned to Li Lingtian after she finished speaking with Ji Yi. "Let's go to Pingyang City first." Li Lingtian's face cracked into a smile. The powerhouses from Pingyang City had been hunting him down for the heavens patching route the last time. It was time for him to return and settle this. Just as they left Qinglan City, Li Lingtian had already ordered the 6 martial honors from the Yi and Lan families to fly toward the direction of the Zhangzhou Dishi family. He told them to settle down in the city where the Dishi family was located and to find out more about the Dishi family. When he went there, he would have a place to stay. Besides, he couldn't go alone against the powerful Dishi family, so he had to make some necessary preparations. Pingyang City. Qing Ling had never heard Li Lingtian mention Pingyang City, so she naturally had no idea why he was there. However, she knew that Pingyang City was not far from soliciting Moon City. "Yes, Ji knows. You should remember about the heaven-nourishing root, right? Last time, in order to fight for the heaven-nourishing root, I obtained it from the Ping family and offended the Ping family. Now, I naturally have to go back and reason things out." Li Lingtian smiled, but he could not help but feel that the smile on his face was not friendly. Qing Ling was startled. When had her young master ever been reasonable? In this world, the strong were respected. The bigger the fist, the more reasonable it was. After listening to Li Lingtian's words, he knew that his young master was being hunted last time and he was going back to get some benefits. After that, the 3 of them took a rest on the spaceship, which flew in the direction of Moonrise City. With his current cultivation strength, as long as he did not encounter any abnormal Supreme Realm experts, there would not be any problems. An existence at the peak of the 6th level of the Martial Emperor realm. This strength had already reached his strongest peak. Coupled with all kinds of methods, he was naturally full of confidence. The spaceship flew at high speed. In a month, they arrived at a place 10,000 miles away from Moonrise City. Rumble. Rumble. At that moment, a series of explosions could be heard in the distance. Li Lingtian's expression did not change at all. Fighter battles were common in the Divine Martial Continent, so it was nothing out of the ordinary. However, when Li Lingtian scanned the area with his divine perception, he was surprised. Li Lingtian opened his eyes and the spaceship flew toward the location of the battle. Based on his experience, he knew that this battle was only at the Martial Emperor level. Because his divine sense found a trace of a familiar aura inside. "Huangfu Tang, hand over that little girl, and one can spare your life." Once I get her in essence, one can break through to the 7th level of the Martial Emperor realm. A sinister middle-aged man was floating in the air, holding a cold and sinister longsword in his hand. The longsword was emitting a faint dark aura. Looking at the young lady on the opposite spaceship in the air, a lewd smile appeared on his face. His eyes kept sizing up the young lady. The young girl stood on the flying ship. She was petite and looked extremely cute. She was definitely a rare beauty in the world. However, at this moment, the young girl's face revealed a trace of regret. In front of her, an old man circulated his true essence and looked at the gloomy man in the air with a serious expression. "West Hill, let me give you a piece of advice. Some people are not people you can offend. If you leave immediately, this old man can let bygones be bygones and pretend that this matter never happened. Otherwise, you will regret it. Huangfu Tang looked at the West Hill. He exuded the aura of a superior, but his expression was uncertain. He was a 4th-level martial emperor, while the other party was a 6th-level martial emperor. Moreover, he had to protect people. If they fought, he would definitely not be his opponent. Huangfu Tang, do you think I don't know your background? Why didn't you stay in the Divine Continent and come to the Azure Continent? You're courting death. Isn't she just a little girl? Don't tell me you're also interested in this. Westhill chuckled, his eyes never leaving the girl. The smile on his face was extremely sinister. After he finished speaking, his expression froze as he looked into the distance. At the same time, Huangfu Tang followed the gaze of the West Hill and looked expectant. However, when he saw who it was, his expression changed again. In the sky, a flying ship flew over and finally floated 10 miles away from the three of them. On the flying ship, there was a white-robed young man and 2 peerless beauties standing beside him. Hee, today's luck isn't ordinary. There are actually 2 of them. When Westhill saw the 2 girls on the flying boat, his eyes widened. He had never seen such beautiful girls. Jiuyou was the fairy princess, the beloved child of the heavens and earth. She was born with a peerless beauty and had an elegant temperament. Perfection was already unable to describe her beauty. Furthermore, Qingling was a rare beauty. Naturally, the 2 young beauties shifted their attention to them when they arrived, completely ignoring Li Lingtian. It's him. The young lady on the spaceship behind Huangfu Tang was surprised when she saw Li Lingtian's appearance. She did not expect this rich kid to appear in this place. Yuyan, you know him? Huangfu Tang turned around and asked in a soft voice when he heard the surprised voice of the young girl behind him. His face was filled with respect. Yes, the young man at the auction used spirit stones to suppress countless experts. In the end, he killed the 3 supreme realm experts of the Yan family. One didn't expect him to appear here. Huangfu Yuyan whispered. She was still fuming with hatred after being played by Li Lingtian the last time. However, he smiled and the spacecraft moved quickly toward Li Lingtian. Just as the 2 spacecraft were about to collide, he flashed and arrived on Li Lingtian's spacecraft. When Li Lingtian saw that the 2 spaceships were about to collide, he waved his hand and a strange force trapped Huangfu Yuyan's spaceship, preventing the collision. Little girl, are you crazy? Li Lingtian's face turned cold. He recognized the girl as well. She was the maid who had delivered the items to him at the auction house. He did not expect to meet her here. No wonder he felt that there was a familiar aura here. It turned out to be this little girl. However, when he saw the little girl's movements, he was furious. Go back by yourself. Don't worry about me. Huangfu Yuyan completely ignored Li Lingtian and greeted Huangfu Tang, who was standing far away. Huangfu Tang was taken aback as well before nodding and turning into a stream of light as he flew into the distance. It's you. When Qingling saw Huangfu Yuyan, she also thought of the last time at the auction house. This young girl wanted to seduce her young master but was stopped by her. He didn't expect to meet her here, and he immediately became vigilant. What? You still recognize me? Huangfu Yuyan looked at Qingling as if she was worried that she would lose her young master. She immediately laughed softly. Her laughter could topple a city, then a country. Qingling, do you know her? Ji looked at Huangfu Yuyan curiously and asked in confusion. Yes, one saw him once last time. Qingling nodded and answered Ji, but her eyes were still looking at Huangfu Yuyan warily. I didn't expect to have such a beautiful little sister here. I didn't expect you to be so flirtatious. Your eyes are also very sharp. Huangfu Yuyan approached Li Lingtian as if she was an acquaintance, causing Li Lingtian to feel uncomfortable. Even though she was a peerless beauty and a lowly type beauty, he could not accept this. Damn it, damn it. You three, just you wait. I'll make you all want to die tonight, hee hee. West Hill was completely captivated by Ge. When Huangfu Tang left, he didn't pay much attention to it. However, when he saw the three little beauties surrounding a young man, he was instantly enraged. He actually ignored him. It was really too detestable. The young man in front of him was indeed enviable. He was elegant and had an unparalleled charm. There was no woman in the world who would not fall for him. Moreover, there were three peerless beauties by his side. How could such a figure not make people angry? Get lost. When Li Lingtian heard West Hill's voice, he found an excuse to avoid the girl. If it were anywhere else, without Qingling and Ge here, he would have definitely executed her on the spot. However, in this place, there were two little beauties around. He had to be careful. He was worried that he would not be able to look away. If West Hill spoke up at this time, it would be courting death. Bastard, you are courting death. West Hill was stunned. He had never expected this young man to be so arrogant. Did he think he was trash? To be humiliated in front of three delicate little beauties like this, wasn't this giving himself a hard time? After saying that, he circulated the true essence in his body, and a shocking pressure suddenly erupted. A sinister aura soared into the sky, and his aura was shocking. His movements were as smooth as flowing water. After he was done, a powerful pressure pressed down on Li Lingtian. With a smug smile on his face, it was as if his pressure had directly crushed the other party to death. Moreover, he had even obtained the favor of the three little beauties. But what happened next made the West Hill's expression change drastically, as if he had seen a ghost. Li Lingtian had no intention of resisting at all. His aura was swallowed by his spaceship as soon as it reached him. Even the pressure was swallowed. This was the first time he had seen such a situation. He had never heard of it before. Upon seeing this, he dared not underestimate Li Lingtian anymore. He circulated his true essence to the maximum and slashed with the ghastly sword in his hand. Immediately, a terrifying cold light blasted toward Li Lingtian. A Tier 6 Martial Emperor powerhouse's full-powered attack was so powerful that it pierced through space and arrived in front of Li Lingtian in the blink of an eye. The three girls had a faint smile on their faces. They did not panic in the face of this attack. Such an expression made West Hill's heart go numb. Chapter 328, Chapter 328, A Maid Who Can Serve You. Chapter 328, A Maid Who Can Serve You. Li Lingtian had no intention of making a move. Instead, he took a step forward and welcomed the attack with his entire body. West Hill was completely stunned by this action. Could it be that the other party was shocked by his shocking attack? However, when he saw what happened next, he could no longer remain calm. His expression changed drastically. Li Lingtian's body met the devastating attack head-on. The moment the attack touched his body, a protective shield was activated. Bang! With a dull thud, the attack hit Li Lingtian but was blocked by the protective shield on his body. The protective shield trembled before it shattered into pieces. However, Li Lingtian did not seem to be hurt at all. Instead, he wore a disdainful expression. Roar! A dragon's roar was heard as three azure dragons appeared beside Li Lingtian. The azure dragons were at least 20 meters long and emanated a powerful aura. The black dragon roared and attacked the West Hill with destructive power. The space was torn apart. Boom! With a loud explosion, the three old dragons circled around. With a scream, Shilling was torn apart by the violent dragon Qi. The old dragon disappeared, and the West Hill was reduced to ashes. A wave of dark air drifted out. The air fell silent once again. The three girls were stunned. They did not expect Li Lingtian's strength to reach such a level. Huangfu Yuyan's expression changed as well, but it soon turned into disdain. After dealing with West Hill, Li Lingtian's expression remained unchanged as if everything before him had nothing to do with him. Indeed, he could kill a rank 6 martial emperor in one strike even if he was a martial honor. He was also at the peak of the 6th level of the martial emperor realm. This West Hill's cultivation was not even as good as his. It would be strange if he was not killed instantly by such a person. You can go now. We have our own things to do. Li Lingtian turned around and told Huangfu Yuyan that it was inappropriate for them to bring a little girl along since they were heading to Pingyang City. This girl actually used him to help her out of the predicament, which really made him unhappy. He could only blame that West Hill for being blind and daring to have designs on his own woman. Although Ji wasn't his woman, she was indeed his junior sister. In his heart, this little girl was his flesh and blood, and he couldn't let anyone insult her. Can I go now? Do you really have the heart to let me leave alone? There are still many bad people here. If anything happens to me, will you be at ease? Huangfu Yuyan was speechless. She was a beauty, yet she was being chased away. This was the first time a lady sat in a bridal sedan. Little girl, 1 am a bad person. If you don't leave, I will punish you on the spot. Li Lingtian was stunned. What kind of logic was this? It was none of his business if she was in danger. As long as it was not his problem, there was nothing to be worried about. As he spoke, a wicked smile appeared on his face. His gaze swept across Huangfu Yuyan's important body parts, causing her to blush. If it was in the past, he would definitely dig out his eyeballs. However, now that his state of mind had reached another level, he did not care at all. Come on, as long as you dare. Huangfu Yuyan puffed out her chest and clenched her fist, making a show of force. Li Lingtian's eyes widened in shock. This little girl was really rich. Her chest was so full and powerful that it was almost ready to pop out. The blood vessels in his heart surged. If the two little girls were not here, he would definitely have done her. Forget it. After I send you to Moonrise City, you can go back by yourself. I still have things to do. After Li Lingtian said that, he steered the spaceship away and quickly headed toward Moonrise City. While Qingling was at the side, Ji and the young lady were chatting happily. Li Lingtian also knew that the young lady's name was Huangfu Yuyan. Gradually, the three girls got together and Li Lingtian was left alone. Li Lingtian had no choice but to pilot the spaceship quickly. He had to send Huangfu Yuyan away so that he would not delay his own business. The distance of 10,000 miles was covered in the blink of an eye. Li Lingtian landed the spaceship 10 miles away from the city gate. The group floated down and Li Lingtian was suddenly enlightened when he saw the mighty soliciting Moon City. A few months ago, he was still a martial arts grandmaster, but now he was a powerful martial emperor. After reminiscing for a moment, his gaze landed on Huangfu Yuyan. Why are you looking at me? Huangfu Yuyan subconsciously took a step back when she saw Li Lingtian's gaze as if she was looking at a bad guy. Do you need me to tell you? Of course you're going back. If we leave, do you want me to carry you in? Li Lingtian said coldly. With that, he pulled Qingling and Ji away, leaving Huangfu Yuyan standing by the side in a daze. As he watched Li Lingtian's group of three leave, a sly smile appeared on his face. In a flash, he chased after Li Lingtian's group of three. Soon, she arrived in front of Li Lingtian and the other two with a sweet smile on her face. Who said one wanted to go back? I didn't say that. You were the one who brought me here. It wasn't easy for me to leave this place, but you sent me back. Aren't you going to take responsibility? Huangfu Yuyan had a self-righteous look on her face, but soon after, she revealed an aggrieved expression. Li Lingtian almost burst into tears at this change. It would be a waste of talent if he did not become the best actress. What the F***ck was going on? He had sent her back, but he had actually made a wasted trip. He was furious. He had been played, but the other party still pretended to be wronged. Who was the one who was really wronged? Are you sure you want to follow me? Li Lingtian's expression was calm, but he was on the verge of exploding. An evil smile appeared in his eyes as he asked indifferently. Since he was going to deliver himself to his doorstep, did he think that he was Lu Xiaohui or a eunuch? Of course, what do you want? Huangfu Yuyan agreed without hesitation. However, when she saw Li Lingtian's expression, she crossed her arms over her chest and glared at him as if he was a bad guy. Since you provoked this young master will punish you on the spot. Qingling, you control the flying ship. Li Lingtian activated the spaceship and with a wave of his hand, a light shield enveloped the three ladies. He then led them onto the spaceship and instructed Qingling to pilot it. With that, he pulled Huangfu Yuyan into his embrace. With a flash, he walked towards the room in the flying ship and disappeared from Qingling's sight in the blink of an eye. What are you doing? Huangfu Yuyan did not even have time to react. By the time she did, she was already in Li Lingtian's arms. A man's breath entered her nose, and her body immediately went limp, without the slightest strength. She had never come into contact with a man in her entire life, let alone being hugged by a young man. His body was weak, but his heart was resisting. He was worried that Li Lingtian would do something that would harm him. Could it be that he had gone too far or that he had seen wrongly? Bang! As the door to the room closed, Li Lingtian looked at the little beauty in his arms and his blood vessels surged. This little beauty was too alluring. If he did not execute her on the spot, he would go berserk. You found this yourself. After Li Lingtian finished speaking, he kissed her rosy lips and his body trembled. He had never experienced such a strange feeling before. Shen Mei and Qingling were different, and so was Huangfu Yuyan. Huangfu Yuyan did not expect Li Lingtian to be so serious. The sudden kiss shocked her whole body. Her mind was hit hard and she was instantly stunned. She had never been close to a man before, let alone someone touching her. Now, someone was actually kissing her. She had never thought that this would happen. Gradually, his entire body became weak. His mind had already fallen into it. Although he did not cater to it, he did not reject it either. It was as if he was in a dream. He had no idea where he was at this moment. After an unknown period of time, Li Lingtian released Huangfu Yuyan with an evil smile in his eyes. This little girl is still a virgin. Yes. Huangfu Yuyan felt an inexplicable sense of loss when she was released. She moaned as she regained her senses. When she saw that Li Lingtian was still looking at her, her face flushed red and she felt extremely hot. This man actually kissed her so domineeringly. She didn't know how she felt. Was it anger, shame, or something else? You still want to follow me? Li Lingtian crossed his arms and looked at Huangfu Yuyan with a threatening smile on his face. Do you think I'm afraid of you? You'd better not let this lady find an opportunity, or else you're done for. Huangfu Yuyan felt embarrassed and conflicted. She had been kissed by this man. If she stayed, she would be bullied. If she left, everything she had done would be in vain. In the midst of their conflict, Li Lingtian's smug expression made them stubborn. They were not afraid of anything but a young man. Alright, since that's the case, you'll be my maid from now on. You have to be at my beck and call. Hee hee, even when I'm sleeping, you have to be at my beck and call. Hee hee. Li Lingtian chuckled sinisterly. Huangfu Yuyan's face turned even more shy when she recalled what had just happened. Needless to say, she knew what Li Lingtian meant. He wanted her to serve him in bed. I can be your maid, but you have to guarantee my safety. If I'm unwilling, After Huangfu Yuyan finished speaking, she hurriedly ran out, not daring to stay here any longer. After she ran out, she realized that something was wrong. The two little beauties kept staring at her, which made her feel even more unbearable. The two little beauties must have misunderstood what had happened between them. Sister Huangfu, what are you doing in there? Your face is very red. Ji looked at Huangfu Yuyan and was instantly confused. Big brother must have done something to carry Huangfu Yuyan in. However, it had only been 2 minutes, so he definitely hadn't done anything. He was instantly extremely curious. When she asked this question, Huangfu Yuyan wanted to jump down. However, this was a spaceship. If she jumped down, she would definitely die. Roar. The two destructive attacks collided. It seemed like a single attack, but it was indeed two destructive attacks. The first punch negated the Supreme Realm Expert's attack, and the second punch landed on the Supreme Realm Expert's body, shattering his defensive shield. At that moment, Li Lingtian unleashed his Azure Dragon's power. 3 Azure Dragons burst out and crushed the tall revered martial artist into pieces. In the blink of an eye, a martial honor of the Ping family was killed. All the martial artists who came to watch did not react at all. He thought that he was seeing things, but in the end, when the tall revered martial artist was turned into dust and never appeared again, he realized that everything was not a hallucination, but real. What kind of concept was it to kill a Supreme Realm Expert in one move? All the martial artists looked at the young man on the spaceship. The white-robed young man was elegant and graceful. He was like a fairyland. His elegant temperament carried a powerful aura. Behind the white-clothed young man, there were 3 peerless beauties that could topple cities, stunning all the warriors. Who are you? You have come to my Ping family. Sorry for not welcoming you, but you killed my Ping family's disciple. Did the Ping family offend you in some way? At this moment, 13 Supreme Realm Experts appeared in the air. The appearance of the 13 Supreme Realm Experts was also the moment Li Lingtian killed the tall Supreme Realm Expert. He had witnessed his Ping clan's powerhouse being killed in one move. All the Ping family warriors were shocked. They knew that the Ping family had encountered a great enemy. However, he could not figure out when he had offended such a terrifying young man. Your Ping family has indeed offended me. Could it be that the Ping clan is so forgetful that they forgot about me? Li Lingtian hovered in the air and stared at the 13 revered martial artists. His expression was calm and indifferent, as if he did not take the 13 revered martial artists seriously at all. With his current cultivation, he was at the peak of rank 6 martial emperor. He was not worried at all when facing experts below the 4th level of martial honored realm. Once the myriad returning sword was used, no matter how many revered martial artists there were, they would only be destroyed. Li Lingtian. It's Li Lingtian. Alright, I've been looking for you for a long time. I didn't expect you to come knocking on my door to seek death. Then I'll fulfill your wish. More than 10 Supreme Realm Experts kept recalling and finally thought of the existence of a person. That person had killed 3 Supreme Realm Experts of the Yuan family when he was a martial ancestor. In the end, there were a few experts who had killed his Ping family. He did not expect that they would actually come knocking on his door now. However, they could not believe that in just a few months, the other party had actually advanced from a martial arts grandmaster to a rank 6 martial emperor. How did he cultivate? It's good that you know. Today, you'll die. Li Lingtian activated his divine consciousness, and the silver-winged flying dragon, little white, jade-eyed beast, and multicolored beast appeared beside him to protect the 3 little beauties. With a flick of his divine sense, the heavenly fault sword appeared in front of him, and a ball of light appeared. Whoosh! A destructive sword will erupted between heaven and earth. The sword will filled the space of 100 miles, and Li Lingtian stood proudly between heaven and earth like a sharp sword. Around him, there were countless sharp swords spinning. These sharp swords were all profound level weapons and above. There were more than 10,000 of them. What was even more terrifying was that there were 36 peerless emperor weapons and a saint weapon in the center of these sharp swords. The pressure of the saint weapon and emperor weapon, as well as the pressure of the tens of thousands of swords, instantly tore the space apart. A world of swords appeared. Li Lingtian's expression turned serious as he glared coldly at the 13 Ping clan's revered martial artists. There was no change in his expression. With a wave of his hand, the space shook and the heaven-destroying sword formation was formed. The destructive sword intent, the soaring sword qi, and the terrifying sword silk tore the space apart. Myriad swords returned to the origin. Li Lingtian shouted softly and pushed with one hand. The 100-meter-wide sword formation turned into a meteor and struck the 13 revered martial artists of the Ping clan at the same time. Tens of thousands of sharp swords and 36 emperor artifacts, coupled with the power of the saint artifact, almost formed one. Even if it was magical, it would be destroyed by this move. Ah! Use the destruction array. 2. Run. 2. Not good, quickly dodge. CI. The 13 Supreme Realm experts had never expected that one person could actually use an array, and it was a terrifying sword array. He had never imagined that he would be able to unleash the myriad returning swords in an instant. Instantly, all the martial artists and experts of the Ping clan were stunned. By the time they reacted, it was already too late. CC. All, ah. Boom. Boom. All, ah. You. Heaven and earth trembled. Sword qi and sword ribbons carried a destructive aura as they continuously killed the 13 Supreme Realm experts. 1 or 2 profound level weapons were not in the eyes of a Supreme Realm expert at all. However, with over 10,000 swords and an Emperor-level Saint artifact, this attack was a whole, and its power was countless times stronger than a single sword. With one attack, several Supreme Realm experts were instantly killed without any resistance. All. With a final scream, the myriad returning swords disappeared, and so did the sword light. Only a faint sword intent floated in the air. 13 Supreme Realm experts had all died. He had killed 13 powerful Supreme Realm experts in one move. The Ping clan was the ruler of Pingyang City. However, such a ruler was destroyed by a young martial emperor in one move. All. Whoosh. Tens of thousands of warriors hiding in the distance couldn't help but exclaim in shock. The Ping family was so powerful, yet they were killed like ants. Was this a human or a god? The Ping family will disappear into history. With a wave of his hands, Li Lingtian released a wave of destruction and death aura. Soon after, a trace of extermination aura was added to the 2 auras. A 4-colored beam of light shot toward the Ping family mansion. The shocking beam of light ignored the distance between them. Boom! A shocking explosion sounded. Within a radius of 10 miles, the ruins were destroyed, and the 5 people survived. The aura of destruction spread out in all directions. The aura of extermination that lingered for a long time made the hearts of countless experts tremble. Li Lingtian glanced at Little White who was beside him. Little White's body flashed and disappeared. However, he appeared in the ruins of the Ping family. His body flashed continuously as he collected weapons, bags of holding, and some treasures. After a short while, Li Lingtian glared at the powerhouses who were watching the battle. He then steered the spaceship and flew away. In the blink of an eye, the spaceship disappeared into the horizon. The Ping family had disappeared into history, and Pingyang City was in chaos. Chapter 330, Separation. Chapter 330, Separation. Moonrise City, Tranquil Sun City, and the nearby cities. All the warriors were shocked. A martial emperor youth had killed a martial honor with one move, killed all the experts of the Ping family with one move and destroyed the foundation of the Ping family with the last move. Moreover, most of the warriors had heard of this young man and countless stories about Li Lingtian had spread. Li Lingtian, 19 years old, Tier 6 martial emperor super powerhouse. His strength was shocking. He had killed more than one supreme realm expert in one strike. Furthermore, Li Lingtian was a holy alchemist and an honorary elder of the Alchemist Guild. This news was in the hands of countless experts. In an instant, countless experts and families ordered their disciples not to provoke this terrifying young man. Because the Ping family had chased him, this young man had hidden for a period of time and then came back to wipe out the Ping family. Meanwhile, Li Lingtian, who was the focus of these warriors, had already left Pingyang City tens of thousands of miles away. On the spaceship, Li Lingtian sat cross-legged in his room while Ji and Qingling enjoyed the scenery. Huangfu Yuyan looked at Li Lingtian from her room, feeling uneasy. This young man was getting more and more incomprehensible. This young man had his own temperament when he did things, and he acted according to his own principles. He could save her and kiss her, but he never violated her when she didn't agree. In front of his family and friends, he was an amiable young man, but in front of his enemies, he was a decisive and ruthless super expert. Aya. After some time, Li Lingtian opened his eyes and waved his hand lazily. My shoulders are a little sore. Give me a massage. Li Lingtian replied indifferently. He did not even look at Huangfu Yuyan as he closed his eyes and enjoyed the moment. Huangfu Yuyan was also speechless. This was not the first time. She was also baffled that she did not object at all and was willing to massage her shoulders. She looked at him enjoying himself, but she did not feel any hatred. She even felt a sense of accomplishment. This thought made her tremble. She was not like this in the past. But now, she had changed. In front of him, she had actually become a little woman. Oh right, my future is very dangerous. I advise you to leave. I can't give you anything, so I'll give this to you. After a long time, Li Lingtian opened his eyes and retrieved a storage pouch from the divine dragon ring. He stood up and turned to look at Huangfu Yuyan. Then, he handed over the storage bag. Even he himself was not confident about the path ahead. He didn't want to harm this girl, because he was facing the 3 super forces and Dishi family. Since Ji had followed him out, he could do nothing about it. This was his responsibility. Qingling was his maid and also his woman. Naturally, she had to follow him. However, Huangfu Yuyan didn't have any relationship with him. They hadn't spent much time together, so it wasn't a big deal for them to separate. You are really generous. Huangfu Yuyan was also stunned, but she had a smile on her face. She took the storage bag and sent her divine sense into it. She was instantly shocked. There were actually more than 10 jade bottles inside, all filled with precious medicinal pills, all of which were peerless. There were also a few peerless profound level weapons and imperial weapons, and even 2 billion low-grade spirit stones. These things were not something that a young warrior could take out. However, he took it out so generously. He was shocked and seemed to have understood something. He must have let him down. I can help you. I'll try my best to help. Please forgive me for my rudeness during this period of time. Hee, I'm a normal man. When facing a beautiful woman, I'll naturally be tempted. However, I can't harm you. The path ahead of me is not something that wealth can solve. I have these things now, so they should be able to help you a little. If I can survive, you will still be my maid. But now, you are no longer my maid. Wait a moment, I will find a city and send you down. You can cultivate in peace. There are a few good cultivation techniques and skills that you can use. When Li Lingtian saw Huangfu Yuyan take the storage pouch, a comforting smile appeared on his face. Then, He said it calmly. He did not want this young girl to misunderstand, nor did he want to harm her. After saying that, he turned around and opened the door to leave. He came to the front of the spaceship and looked at the distant sky. Huangfu Yuyan did not expect this young man to be here. Her heart trembled. There was actually such a foolish person in this world. However, she was so silly that she was cute. She was actually willing to give up on her so that she would not be hurt. During this period of time, although the two of them were close and were teased by him, he let go. So that was what happened. She finally understood that it wasn't that she wasn't charming enough, nor was it that she wasn't beautiful enough. It was just that he didn't want to harm her. That was all. When she saw Li Lingtian walk out, she, who was about to crack a joke, felt her heart tremble. She followed him out of the room, leaving behind her not so imposing figure at the door. The owner of this back view was strong, domineering, gentle, and heart-wrenching. At this moment, this figure looked a little lonely, like a wild goose that had left its hometown. This loneliness made one's heart ache. She wanted to know why this young man was so lonely. He had a dazzling halo on the surface, but he had such a lonely back. She knew that this young man was a heaven-defying monster. He had the talent and strength that all the martial artists on the continent were jealous of. He was a 19-year-old 6th-level martial emperor, an 18-year-old alchemy saint, the first alchemy saint of the Azure continent, and an honorary elder of the Alchemy Guild. Any one of these halos was something that those super experts looked up to. Qingling and Ji also sensed the aura and Li Lingtian's loneliness. However, no one bothered him. This loneliness was the loneliness from the bottom of his heart. Huangfu Yuyan felt sour in her heart and felt bad for this young man. He could not help but walk up to Li Lingtian and stand behind him. He then looked at Li Lingtian's back seriously. Ji and Qingling had left the spaceship and returned to their rooms. This is for you. I'm your maid, just like Qingling, I can face any problems. Do you think I can run away for myself? This lady is not what you think. I will not be afraid of death. Huangfu Yuyan walked up to Li Lingtian and handed him the storage pouch as she spoke in a serious tone. Who do you think you are? You don't have to care about my matters. I'm very annoyed right now. Get down. If I am still alive, you can hate me. Li Lingtian's eyes turned confused. He muttered to himself for a moment before speaking coldly. As he spoke, a ring of light appeared with one hand and the other. The ring of light wrapped around Huangfu Yuyan. With a wave of his hand, the spaceship's defense was opened. Huangfu Yuyan was thrown out as well. Li Lingtian sighed softly as he uttered his final words. She could hate him, but she had to hate him while he was still alive. If he was dead, she couldn't hate him. You. The flying ship sped up, and in the blink of an eye, they had already traveled tens of kilometers away. However, Huangfu Yuyan's voice was heard from behind. Her voice was filled with confusion and anger. Li Lingtian did not turn around but accelerated the spaceship. In a moment, he had disappeared into the horizon. In the sky, Huangfu Yuyan watched as the flying ship disappeared. Her sparkling tears rolled down her face. Her entire body was suspended in the air by the halo and slowly sank down. You bad guy, I won't forgive you. When the time comes, I will beat you up. Huangfu Yuyan said coldly. Her body had already landed on the ground. When she landed on the ground, the halo disappeared. As if he had lost his soul, he quickly flew towards the city in the distance. Big brother, why did you let Sister Huangfu go down alone? When Ji and Qingling came out, they happened to see Li Lingtian release Huangfu Yuyan. They were both shocked but did not say anything. Ji asked seriously after they had flown far away. You're my sister. We'll face danger together. But sometimes, your safety is my greatest wish. I don't want to hurt her, because I'm going to face the 3 superpowers of the Azure continent, and the Dishi family. You'll understand in the future. Li Lingtian smiled as he reached out to stroke Ji Yi's hair. After that, Li Lingtian looked at the direction and flew toward the northeast. With his current cultivation base, he could only start by touching the Dishi family. Dishi family was a knot, and he would not feel at ease until he solved it. The Queen's Palace. Shun Mei was at least a member of the Queen's Palace. He could wait for a while before dealing with her. He couldn't deal with the Kanglan building, so he could only hide. The Wind Moon Palace didn't look good either. He definitely couldn't get involved. After spending half a month on the spaceship, Li Lingtian finally landed and found a city to rest. After all, martial artists were humans. It was not a good thing to be on a spaceship every day. After flying for about 10 days, they would rest for a few days and search for some important materials and medicinal herbs in the city. After half a year, they finally arrived at Vast Heaven City. Vast Heaven City was also Dishi family's territory. Compared to soliciting Moon City, Vast Heaven City was hundreds of times larger. This was the powerful Dishi family, one of the top 10 families in the Azure continent. The Dishi family was much stronger than the Ping family. However, they didn't enter Vast Heaven City this time. Instead, they came to Snow Cloud City, which was 500,000 kilometers away. The 3 of them entered Snow Cloud City quietly and found a place to settle down. If he wanted to deal with Dishi family, he couldn't just barge in recklessly. Instead, he had to plan step by step, and try to succeed. Chapter 331, Chapter 331, Snow Cloud City, 1. Chapter 331, Snow Cloud City, 1. Do you think you can just throw me away like this? After Li Lingtian and the other 2 entered the city, a cloaked woman in black snorted from a distance. Her voice was unyielding. Seeing that the 3 of them had entered the city, he waited for a moment before he got his token and followed them in, disappearing into the Laughing City. Li Lingtian brought Qingling and Ji Yi to a relatively remote mansion to stay in. This place was arranged by the Yi clan's powerhouses. Although they did not know why Li Lingtian was here, they did not dare to make a sound. This was also Li Lingtian's order. Moreover, Li Lingtian had specifically called Yi Feng over for this matter. Young lord, you can make do with this mansion for now. After we have some information and power in Snow Cloud City, we will come to see you. Yi Feng said respectfully after he brought Li Lingtian into the mansion. Now, he had finally been completely conquered by this young man. The strength of this young man in front of him was extremely terrifying. Moreover, he was a saint alchemist. Coupled with the Alchemist Guild, there was even more hope for the matter of the blue screen. Alright, be careful. Li Lingtian waved his hand. Although Yi Feng and the others had arrived here first, they were too far away from Qinglan City. Not long after they arrived, Li Lingtian and the other 2 arrived. There were many things that he had yet to find out. Although he did not know why Li Lingtian was here, he could imagine that this place was very close to the Dishi family. It was likely that Li Lingtian was here for the Dishi family. The more it was like this, the more cautious he was, worried that he might leak any information that would be detrimental to Li Lingtian. Subsequently, Li Lingtian and the other 2 settled down in the mansion and began cultivating in peace. Yi Feng and the others were left to handle the rest. After settling down, Li Lingtian explained his situation to Qingling and Ji Yi while he was cultivating. Since they had followed him here, they were definitely qualified to know. Big brother, you said that Sister Qingyue was brought back to the Azure continent by Dishi family's powerful warriors. How despicable. After Ji Yi heard this, he was instantly angry. Someone actually attacked the person Big Brother liked. This happened to her because of you, so I have to save her. Li Lingtian's face was filled with determination. Even though he did not have any feelings for Tang Qingyue, he was still afraid of his sister. However, when he was injured in the battle with the martial emperor, she used the blood of extreme Yin to heal him. The blood of extreme Yin was the only drop of essence blood for a girl with the body of extreme Yin. It was as important as a girl's chastity. Tang Qingyue must be suffering in Dishi family now. If he didn't get her out, he could still cultivate in peace. It was likely that he would be traumatized for the rest of his life. Now, he felt that it was very easy for his cultivation to reach a bottleneck. This was also a problem with his state of mind. He had 3 mountains pressing down on him: House of Storms, Dishi family, and the Queen's Palace. I believe that young master will be able to successfully rescue Miss Blue Moon. We will also work hard to cultivate. I hope that we will not become a burden to young master. Qingling also said seriously. She was just curious about how this Tang Qingyue was so beautiful that her master cared so much about her. There was also Miss Tang Zimeng, who was young master's fiancée. She must be extremely beautiful. Both sisters were related to young master. The younger sister beside the young master was an unparalleled existence in the world. There was no other girl as beautiful as her in the divine martial continent. It was also the gathering place for countless experts and martial artists. It was also the place where news spread the fastest. A young martial artist revealed an excited expression as he enjoyed the delicacies on the table while talking loudly. Immediately, this news attracted the attention of all the martial artists in the restaurant. They were all extremely surprised. A peerless medicinal pill. Is that possible? That's right. Supreme grade pills are just a legend. Even in the divine martial continent, there might not be any supreme grade pills. They even said that they are all peerless pills. I think that as long as they have peerless pills, the divine pill pavilion will cause a sensation in the world. Is it possible to sell a tier 5 or 6 medicinal pill? That's right. Tier 5 and 6 pills are all controlled by those super forces. Those super forces don't even have enough of them, so how could they sell them? That's just bragging. All the martial artists were instantly shocked, and then they were in disbelief. A peerless pill was a legendary existence. It was impossible for it to appear in the Azure continent. Moreover, tier 5 and 6 pills were all refined by spirit alchemists, and it was very difficult to succeed. Refining a cauldron of pills had long been reserved by the experts in their own family forces. How could there be more pills to sell? This was a joke. If it was like what you said, he wouldn't be called the Divine Pill Pavilion. Look, this is what I exchanged all my wealth for. After the young man finished speaking, he revealed a disdainful smile and took out one jade bottle after another. The jade bottle was filled with peerless pills. The first grade essence cultivating pill was peerless. The second grade spirit binding pill was a peerless grade. The third grade void spirit pill was also a peerless grade. Even the fourth grade purple jade pill was a peerless grade. Instantly, all the martial artists were stunned, their eyes flashing with desire. This is the 5th and 6th grade medicinal pills that I exchanged for with all my assets, the Azure Yang pill and the dust cleansing pill. The young man let the other martial artists take a look at these medicinal pills. All the martial artists did not speak anymore because they were shocked by the medicinal pills in front of them. In the end, the young man put away the pills and mysteriously took out 2 more pills. His expression was solemn, as if they were family treasures. It really is a peerless medicinal pill. They are all peerless medicinal pills. Even 5th and 6th grade medicinal pills are of high quality. What kind of realm does one have to be in to be able to refine such a medicinal pill? Does the Divine Pill Pavilion really exist? I want to buy some too. The power of this pill is beyond imagination. If you don't buy it, it's gone. Brother, where is the Divine Pill Pavilion? Yeah, Tell us where the Divine Pill Pavilion is. Hurry up, eking hurry up. All of a sudden, all the warriors in the restaurant were in an uproar. Following the direction pointed by the young man, all the warriors flew in the direction of the Divine Pill Pavilion. In the blink of an eye, the entire restaurant was empty. There wasn't a single warrior left. When the young man saw this, a strange smile appeared on his face. He turned around and left the restaurant. His body strangely disappeared. In other places in Snowcloud City, the figure of this young man also appeared. Moreover, he had even mentioned the conditions of the Divine Pill Pavilion's transaction. The appearance of the Divine Pill Pavilion was like a heavy bomb that exploded in Snowcloud City. All the forces, families, and super experts in the city were shocked. This was because the Divine Pill Pavilion had produced peerless pills and even sold level 5 and 6 high-grade pills. This was something that had never happened in the Azure continent, and it was something that had never happened in Snow Cloud City. In an instant, the Divine Pill Pavilion became the hottest topic in Snow Cloud City. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.